guy to come through when the team desperately needs a goal.
Absolutely. David Cotton scored the first goal of the season on opening night. He scored the game winner in that crazy comeback win in Fort Wayne. And then, of course, the game winner in that 1-0 finish on Sunday. The Mavericks traded for Cotton 2 seasons ago, and 100 points later, he has helped this team chase wild amounts of success. Super happy he was able to cross that milestone with this team, and hopefully we see 100 more.
Yeah, that trade is looking better and better by the day. And partner, one of his line mates, Jackson Berezowski, has also picked things up a notch as of late. He had the primary assist on that goal scored by Cotton on Sunday, and Berezowski just really seems to be thriving in that center spot in between Cotton and Casey Carew.
100%, and I think the best part about it is his defensive game as well. He battles in front of the net and contributes massively on the back end. He's so quick to eliminate plays in the defensive zone and get up ice and generate offense. Definition two-way player in Jackson Berezowski right now. The center position is such a good fit for him as of late. Hopefully he can get that point total up to match his stellar defensive play as well.
This will be game 2 of 4 consecutive tilts against the Tulsa Oilers tonight as the Mavericks look for their 7th win in a row. Sean, your keys to the game.
Yeah, first off, hot start. The reason the Mavericks fell to the Oilers at home earlier this season was because of massive first period deficits. You don't want to have to battle against that here tonight. Secondly, eliminate quality chances. The Oilers love to throw a ton of pucks at the net, hoping something good will happen. Let them launch those outside shots. Just be clear to clear the rebounds. Lastly, piggyback off your momentum. This Mavericks team is on a heater. Like you mentioned, 6 wins in a row. You want to keep it rolling. Everyone is contributing on this winning streak right now. You need the same effort here tonight.
All right, thank you very much, partner. We'll be back in just a moment, folks. Don't go anywhere. It's the Mavericks and the Oilers, their 2nd of 4 straight matchups, coming your way next. Welcome back inside Cable Dahmer Arena. Alex Von Koitel, Sean Carrier with you. Glad you could join us tonight on your Wednesday night. The Mavericks hosting the Tulsa Oilers for the 3rd time this season, playing them for the 6th time this season, hoping to remain perfect in the 2026 annual year. The Mavericks looking for their 7th consecutive win, which is the 2nd most among all teams in the ECHL as far as active win streaks go. Let's take a look at our starting lineups tonight. Rob Murray and the Oilers going with the Adam McMaster line. Adam McMaster being flanked by Dylan Fitz on his left and Easton Armstrong on his right. On defense, it'll be the big veteran Mike McKee with Doogie Legrone on his right. Tomas Sashanek in goal, the Czech Republic native with a 3-4-0 record and .878 save percentage. The Mavericks countering with their Cotton, Berezowski, and Carew line. On defense, Marcus Crawford and Zach Ewens. In goal, Jack LaFontaine, coming off of what was his best performance of the season, stopping all 42 shots that he faced against Tulsa on Sunday. The puck drops. This game is underway. Sit back and relax, Mavs country. We're glad to have you with us tonight as this puck flies directly out of play from the neutral zone. Might have gone into the Tulsa bench. 7 seconds in, no score. Let's take a look at our referee and our linesman for tonight's game. Our referee is Chaz Noka, and the linesmen are Jake Paw and Duncan Magera. We're going to have a do-over here on this face-off. It'll be in the neutral zone between Berezowski and Adam McMaster. Won by McMaster and played by the Oilers in their own zone. Legrone, D-to-D pass for Mike McKee. Pair of veteran blue liners out there for Rob Murray to start this game. Jack LaFontaine deals it to Crawford. His pass is swatted at in the high slot. LaFontaine decides to play it again to Crawford, who will advance it up to his own blue line. Cotton redirects it into Tulsa territory. Cotton plays the body long. Left point shot by Ewens. Redirects wide, and now Berezowski tries to hack it in front. Cotton looking to scoop up that loose puck in the near corner. It's whacked around by McMaster and out to center. Dylan Fitz chips it in. No ice. He had gained the red line, so icing being waved off as the Mavericks get some fresh bodies out there. Jackson Judding. He slides it over to Ewens. His pass is redirected by Landon McCallum. Jack Randall is first to it, near corner of the Tulsa zone. He's given a shove by Connor Smith. Rolls it around to Jake McLaughlin, left half wall. He will shoot from a tough angle, testing Tomas Sashanek, who is equal to the task. He makes a glove snag.
The Mavericks are going to be pretty desperate to get out to a good start here. The last time the Oilers came into this building in both first periods on the Friday and Saturday night games, they built up multiple goal leads, 3 to 4 goal leads that the Mavericks were constantly chasing the rest of those games. They came pretty close both times to tying things up, sending things to overtime, but you just can't spot a team multiple goals like that.
That's right, and the Mavericks showed on that recent road trip, partner, how good they are at coming from behind when necessary, but they're even better when they don't have to do that. And Jake McLaughlin takes over behind his own net. He will feed McCallum on his right. He just chips it off the glass and out to neutral territory. Connor Smith whacks it back up to the KC logo, and he will get it right back from McCallum in his own zone. Plays it over to Roman Canal, and the ex-UConn captain sends it into Mavericks ice. LaFontaine goes to Drake Bergen. It's been a shove by Jackson Weeb. Sullivan whacks it around for Souter. And now this is Charlie Wright. Now Lohheit. He begins to motor out of his own zone with it. Had his pass intercepted, and Weeb will just send it back to Roman Canal in his own zone. 2:10 have expired here at Cable Dahmer Arena. No score between the Mavericks and the Oilers. As a shot from above the left circle is snagged by Jack LaFontaine, making that save on Dakota Seaman.
That was a crazy pass from Biaka Batuka from the Oilers' own blue line. He fires it through about 2 sticks of Lucas Souter and Nolan Sullivan. Creates a nice little shot attempt for them. But then again, this is what the Oilers do a lot when we talk about their shots on goal. And the reason they got up to 42 in Sunday's game is they're constantly just ripping shots from the high slot as soon as they get in the zone. So that's something that Jack LaFontaine feels comfortable with. Sometimes you're going to get some rebound opportunities out of those, and it's up to the Mavericks defenders to clear those chances away.
That's right. And the Oilers do get a lot of shots, partner. They're third most in the ECHL. The top 3 teams in shots, 4 per game, are all in the Mountain Division. As Souter takes over and skates down the right side, he will carry it in behind the net. He's shoved off the puck by Dakota Seaman, and it's put down low for Lohheit. The puck bounces off his blade, and Matthew Henry will take over for the Oilers. He is bumped down by Sullivan in the slot. Shoots, stopped by Sashanek, and the loose puck's been cleared. Gotta love the physicality there from Nolan Sullivan as he steals the puck on the forecheck. Rather, Janicki does. He takes it in the corner. He looks to center. He wanted Crawford, knocked away from him. Crawford whacks it around to the near wall. Janicki tries to feed Ewens up high. Ewens will just punch it back down to the corner and now has to play it at center ice as it's been cleared. Gavin re-enters the Tulsa zone. Spins with it. Tried to rotate it below the goal line. Bounces free for Glynn. He put it off of Chase Brand's skates. Brand will shovel it in the direction of Glynn. Doesn't reach him, however. Kept at the blue line by Janicki. Now a long point shot redirects just wide. And this puck skitters its way back out into Mavericks ice. Crawford to play it for KC. He advanced it off the stick of Jimmy Glynn, who redirects it into the Tulsa zone. 16:22 to go in the first, no score. Bergen tried to play the body there on Dylan Fitz. It squeaks past him. LaFontaine rims it around to the far half wall. Cotton into his own slot for Drake Bergen. Bergen gains the red line. He's flattened upon entering the zone, but he gets right back onto his skates. He readjusts his helmet. That'll wake you up in the morning. Carew shovels this one into the Tulsa zone. Dougie Legrone wraps it around. McLaughlin with his head up, able to turn with it, tries to advance it up the wall. Intercepted by Tyler Poulsen. Fed down to Nelson. Nelson lost possession. Here comes Berezowski the other way for KC. Nice pass to feed Charlie Wright across the Tulsa line. He rims it counterclockwise. And it's dropped off by Hudson Wilson. Casey Carew's got it. Across to Charlie Wright. Left off for Wilson. Wheels into the high slot, pulls the trigger. It bounces just wide. And Connor Smith has got Randall on one side, Jutting on the other, so he decides to just send it around his own end wall. Mavericks applying a lot of pressure here. Charlie Wright scurries over. He keeps the attack going. Randall has it behind the net, tries to center. It bounces up to the point. Wilson, Jutting one-timer off the mark. Hit the backboards. Oilers have not been able to change in some time here. They're able to clear past their own blue line. They'll get a couple of fresh bodies out there, but still 3 players remain out there for Tulsa that need to change. As the Oilers loft this one down, Charlie Wright to play it for KC. His pass finds Sullivan in front of the Mavericks bench. The Oilers are caught on a delayed offside, so we get a whistle and a stoppage. 5:20 have gone by in the first. No score between the Mavericks and the Oilers.
The Mavericks are having a really nice start to this game. It's unfortunate they haven't been able to find the back of the net yet. What I think is most surprising is the constant force of turnovers in the offensive zone right now. They're working the puck low to high really well, and then sometimes they get pulled out of the zone, and it's up to one last guy to try to force a turnover, and they've been successful at that so far early in this game, and that's always going to be a good recipe for success when you can just hem a team in their own zone due to their own turnovers.
And the Mavericks very good at that. Seldom this season have they relied on transition attacks to generate offense. They're one of the best teams in the ECHL at sustaining pressure in opposing zones. As Souter goes wide, and he will feed Sullivan. Backhands it towards the line. Low height accelerates it further. Long point shot by Ewens. Doesn't get through all that congestion. As Weeb is checked by Nolan Sullivan near corner. Sullivan gets back on it. His pass went between Ewens and Crawford, so Crawford directing LaFontaine to pass it to him, and he does. Crawford from the red line. Up to Glynn. Redirects it into the Tulsa zone. 14 minutes to go in the first. No score. And Adam McMaster turns it over. Glynn put it over the line. Gavin skates in off the half wall. He now plays it in behind the net. One just sort of slid dangerously in front of Tomas Sashanik. Fortunately for him, there were no Mavericks in the area. As McMaster takes over, he's given a shove by Drake Bergen. Fits his pass. Looked like it was intended for Connor Smith. He wasn't occupying the point yet, so he retreats out to his own zone. Canal's pass not connecting. So LaFontaine will play this. Wrapped around to Gavin. Bounced off his skates. Played through the crease by Armstrong. Long follow-up point shot by Smith, blocked by Janicki. As Berezowski hacks it out to neutral ice. Janicki is defended by Smith. He will bounce it back to the line. Berezowski with a shot, just missed the left post. And he will send it back to the line. Point shot from there, blocked, and the Oilers clear it. LaFontaine will slow this puck down behind his own net. Guides it on for Charlie Wright. Now Wilson. Up to Carew. Casey Carew, left wing side. Gains the Tulsa blue line. Knocked off the puck by Roman Canal. David Cotton follows up. Excellent stick handling. He stays on it. Backhands it to the point. D-to-D from Wilson to Charlie Wright, who will send it in low. Far corner, it's Cotton. Behind the net, stuff attempt by Berezowski. Couple of pad saves. Loose on the doorstep, and it pops out to the slot and cleared. A little goalmouth scramble there for the Mavericks. That Carew, Cotton, Berezowski line continuing to apply the pressure. Carew bounces one ahead for Jack Randall. He's able to scoot by Roman Canal. Takes it in behind the net. Randall tries to turn it on net. Stick save by Sashanik. And the Oilers are able to get this one out of their own zone. As it's dumped into the adjacent corner and fed back to Josh Nelson. Poulsen had it stolen from him by Jutting, and that puck flutters off the glass, stays in play. The Oilers stopped playing. They thought it was out. Here come the Mavericks the other way. Jack Randall near the end of a shift here. He's given a shove by Mike McKee. And McCallum, Randall both fighting for it near corner of the Tulsa zone. As we approach the midway point of the first, still scoreless here in KC. As this puck is scooped up by Dougie Legrone for the Oilers. He angles it off the corner boards. He wanted Nelson to get there first, but Ewens had other ideas. Icing called against Tulsa.
You're just not going to be able to beat Zach Ewens in a foot race. Really nice job by Ewens to recognize the attempt that the Oilers were going for and make sure he got himself spun around 180. Gets himself all the way down ice, forces icing. A lot of tired bodies out there for the Oilers right now. The Mavericks will look to take advantage, and probably their best kind of grinded out line right now. Lucas Souter, Nolan Sullivan, and Luke Lohheit out there on the offensive side of things. Sullivan, incredibly good start to his game right now. Laying a couple big hits, had some really nice success generating turnovers.
Face-off won by Sullivan in the offensive zone to set up Lohheit for a good opportunity. Something that line loves to do, and they're able to do it because of the face-off prowess of Nolan Sullivan, which he has put on display multiple times this season. And he battles hard on the forecheck, far half wall. Souter trying to spar along as well. Low height sends it along the blue line, kept in the zone nicely by Bergen. He will carry it down to the corner on the near side. Sullivan up high. McLaughlin, low height now. He turns, backhands the puck across. Nice pass. He wanted McLaughlin. Puck just didn't settle for him. Excellent idea there by Low height. And that puck slides its way to the half wall on the near end, and the Oilers able to chip this one off the glass and down. Will finally be able to get some much needed fresh bodies out there. Just relentless pressure over the last few minutes by the Mavericks. And they steal the puck. Gavin with a shot from a tough angle, blocked. And that one, it looks like, went into the glove of Sashanik, so we get a whistle and a stoppage in play. We're going to take a timeout, Mavs country. 10:09 to play in the first. No score between the Mavericks and the Oilers. We'll be right back.
Fun, high-end, the upper echelon. That is our guiding principle. The extraordinary. At every level, at every turn, and in every interaction. Why? Simple. To offer the absolute finest luxury car experience in Kansas City. That is what it means to be an aristocrat. Aristocrat Motors, where we treat every driver like royalty.
There's a look at Tomas Sashanik from Prerov, Czechia, 6'1", 181 pounds, just 22 years of age. Has to be thrilled with his home country's World Junior team just earning a silver medal in the World Junior Hockey Championships, losing to Sweden in the gold medal game. Jack LaFontaine at the other end, who just had his best performance of the season, an incredible 42-save shutout against the Tulsa Oilers, which made him the all-time leader in not just wins in Mavericks franchise history, but also shutouts. 8 career shutouts for Jack LaFontaine, which leads all goalies in Mavericks franchise history. So he's just been such an incredible part of this franchise over the last few years. Will Gavin takes over. He advances up to Janicki. Janicki lost the puck to Jeremy Biaka-Batuka. Now here come the Oilers the other way. Jackson Weeb twists it over the blue line. Hudson Wilson off the boards for Janicki. Now Wright. Wright's pass redirected further by Jimmy Glynn. Oilers try to clear this. Glynn applies the pressure as it flutters out past the blue line. It's intercepted by Wilson. He had to wait. The Mavericks are on a delayed offside here, so we get a whistle, even though the Mavericks didn't touch the puck.
Yeah, Hudson Wilson did a phenomenal job picking that puck up in the neutral zone. It was a little bit of an awkward bounce. I wasn't quite sure how he was going to get it. He snakes his way through a couple of Oilers, and just unfortunately one of the players had jumped a little too early. So hopefully they can stay on sides when we come back right after this break.
When you have a financial partner that invests in every part of you, you can't help but feel like a star. Member owned, open to all. Community America Credit Union, invested in you.
Our railroad moves North America,
expanding our legacy of excellence with each mile.
as leaders in innovation and service.
We are united by hard work and pride.
We safely deliver every day,
Connecting people,
connecting communities.
connecting nations.
We are CPKC. Together, we go places no one else can go.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Big O Tires, a proud sponsor of the KC Mavericks. Big O is your one-stop shop for tires, wheels, brakes, oil changes, front-end services, and much more. Stop by any of their 13 locations, conveniently located across the KC Metro. Call your local shop today or visit bigotires.com. Neutral zone draw near the Tulsa blue line, won by the Mavericks. LaFontaine deals it on to Crawford. Zach Ewens now. Diagonal pass finds Casey Carew on the tape. He will flutter it over the Tulsa line. Poulsen gives it across to Roman Canal. The Oilers clear this as it bounces Looks like it was going wide of LaFontaine's net, but the Mavericks goaltender decided to play it anyways. Here comes Berezowski, left wing side, joined by Carew. The pass back to Carew, left circle, now to Cotton with a one-time drive off the chest of Sashanek. And it's recovered, far corner, flung at the net by Crawford, stopped by Sashanek as Berezowski was given a shove in the low slot. No penalty called against Tulsa. Crawford takes over for the Mavericks. And we'll just buy some time for his forward unit to make a line change here. We'll drop it out for Landon McCallum. McCallum skates around a couple of Oilers. Nice move to the goal. Lost a handle on the puck. Silky smooth hands put on display by Landon McCallum. Dougie Legrone is met by Jake McLaughlin, who backpedals into his own corner and will bank it off the boards and out to Randall. 8:15 to go in the first, no score. Randall gains the blue line. Legrone intercepting that pass. He has just iced the puck, so we get a whistle. Icing called against Tulsa with 8:07 to go in the first.
And the Mavericks passing so far in this first period has been really crisp. They're finding ways to get pucks through the Oilers at times, going under sticks, going through the legs. And really nice play here from Jackson Berezowski. He tries to get it for Carew, who just works it back for Cotton, and Cotton wastes no time. And look at Jackson Berezowski, makes that initial pass and goes straight to the front of the net to try to screen that opportunity for David Cotton. Just the definition of a two-way player right now in that center role. He's defensively fantastic, and then he's also creating things right in front of the net as well. It's such a good pair with David Cotton and Casey Carew, who can really shoot the puck well.
Yeah, those guys are just showing such great synergy right now. The only unit to convert on Sunday in Tulsa in a very low-scoring affair. Luke Lohheit added a secondary helper on that goal scored by Cotton on Sunday afternoon. McLaughlin sends this one into the Tulsa zone. The Oilers are quick to exit as Fitz's pass misses everything in sight. Another icing called against Tulsa. And they have struggled where the Mavericks have thrived, partner, on these crisp passes you mentioned. The Oilers have had no such luck. They're missing their intended targets. Maybe not all on the same page, it seems. There have been a couple of times where they've intentionally iced it with the understanding that their guy would win the foot race, and it just hasn't been happening for them.
It just goes to show how good of skaters this Mavericks defensive group is. Really, all of them can work their legs incredibly well. And out there on the ice now, Charlie Wright and Hudson Wilson, both just phenomenal skaters.
So Fitz will backhand this one off the boards and out. Lohheit bounces it across. Nice pass. Souter left side with a shot from a tough angle, stopped by Sashanek. Souter collects his own rebound, feeds Lohheit. Now it's Sullivan back to Lohheit off his stick. And Fitz will skate it out for Tulsa. Here comes Armstrong, left side with a shot. Glove save LaFontaine. He'll just hang on to that, denying the Oilers' leading scorer in Easton Armstrong, who's got the most goals and points on Tulsa this season, with 13 and 21 respectively.
Really nice play here by Lucas Souter. Just he has such a quick release with his shot. It didn't really seem like he was a threat to score in that situation. Then all of a sudden, it's almost a perfectly placed shot over the near side shoulder. Lucas Souter, he missed a lot of time with injuries so far this year, and since he's come back, he's really impressed with that lethal shot of his.
He has put that on full display on that power play goal that he had a couple of weeks back from the right circle. Picturesque one-timer was that goal from Lucas Souter, as it's dumped into the corner on the near side of the Tulsa zone. Canal will advance it up to Weeb, taken away from him by Gavin. Held in the zone by McLaughlin. His shot looked like pinballed wide after hitting a leg, and the Oilers have cleared this. Crawford absorbs a big hit, but he got it off to Glynn. Glynch for Janicki above the right circle, into the slot. Ewens with a toe drag and a shot, glove save, rebound, side of the net, whacked at by Gavin, stopped by Sashanek. Mavericks keep it in the attacking zone. Ewens to Crawford, now to Janicki with a shot, blocked. And it's picked up and sent up ice. The Oilers are able to get it out past their own blue line, but not much further than that. The Mavericks are all over it. Janicki's pass is intercepted by Connor Smith, using that 6'6" frame to intercept the puck. Ewens now. Long stretch pass, finds Casey Carew. Goes off his stick and all the way down. Canal gets there first for Tulsa. Now Connor Smith leads all Tulsa defensemen in goals this season. His pass goes off of Poulsen. They say offside, so we get a stoppage. 5:50 to go in the first. No score, but the Mavericks pressing aggressively on the attack. We're going to take our final media timeout of period 1. Keep it right here, folks. You're watching and listening to KC Mavericks Hockey.
How do I get rid of it? Just drink a ton of water.
My mama said tea with local honey works wonders on a sore throat.
Got the ginger soup.
The best remedy? Essential oils.
Dude, don't worry about it. Always works.
Health question? Get expert advice. Consult a nurse. It's free.
Optimal performance is our goal both on and off the ice. KCOA is your home for orthopedic care in Kansas City. As the largest independent orthopedic practice in our region, we can provide personalized treatments for nearly every ache, pain, or injury you might have. We have the experts and access to get you the care you need today. With over 60 providers and 7 locations across the metro,
Tonight's game is brought to you by Culver's, a proud sponsor and the official frozen custard of the Kansas City Mavericks. Whether it's a famous Butterburger, their signature cheese curds, or a scoop of fresh frozen custard, you will always leave happy. Stop by any of their 15 locations in the KC Metro or visit culvers.com. Culver's, welcome to delicious. 5:50 to play in the first. No score between the Mavericks and the Oilers. KC looking to win its 7th consecutive game. They won their 6th straight game in Tulsa on Sunday. This is game 2 of 4 consecutive tilts between the Mavericks and the Oilers. As Connor Smith will bounce this one into the Mavericks zone. McLaughlin. Cotton now for Drake Bergen. He gains the blue line, goes wide on Smith. Put it off of Sashanik from a very tight angle. And the Czech goaltender was able to make the shoulder save, and now it's played by Smith up to Tyler Poulsen. Poulsen across the KC line, banked it off the boards. Intercepted by Bergen, who can't get it out. Connor Smith into the high slot. Maintains possession as he swats it down to Poulsen. Rolled in deep for Nelson. Poulsen now up high for Smith. Across to Canal. Into the slot, Nelson. Tipped it on net. Not sure if LaFontaine had to play it or not, but Carew will take over for the Mavericks. Inside of the final 5 here at Cable Dahmer in the first period. No score between the Mavericks and the Oilers. KC dominating in the time of possession and shots on goal departments. 13-4 in favor of the Mavericks are the shots. Here comes Jackson Judding. Down the right side, joined by Randall. The pass was intended for him, but it was broken up by Doogie Legrone. Armstrong gave it away to Charlie Wright. Wilson, McCallum. His pass broken up by Armstrong. Judding is after it. Fitz just able to outrace him barely. As it swatted past the reach of Wilson out into the neutral zone and beyond that as McMaster loses the puck to Charlie Wright. Wright gains the Tulsa line. Drops it to Judding. He will roll it in behind the net. Wright spears it further. And the Mavericks are able to work it up high for Judding. Long shot goes wide and high as it's played in the corner on the far side. Here's a chance, Judding, side of the goal. His shot stopped by Sashanik. He's been very busy here in this first period. And it's played now by Jackson Weeb for Tulsa. He will pass it to himself. Wilson able to beat him to it, and now Randall's pass off the stick of McCallum, swatted back in below the KC goal line. 3:38 to go in the first. Scoreless here at Cable Dahmer. Crawford. Low height with a burst of speed. Crosses the Tulsa blue line. Pivots, drops it off. Ewens with a drive, just missed. Wide of the left post by inches. The Oilers have cleared this down to the Mavericks zone. Ewens takes over. Gives it to low height. LaFontaine is collided into, and we get a whistle for interference called against Tulsa.
Yeah, someone just caught a piece of Jack LaFontaine as they were going by. No surprise, that's Matthew Henry. The guy who's racked up 45 penalty minutes in just 11 games with the Oilers this season.
Interference.
Goalie interference, the call against Matthew Henry, and you called it, partner. Gotten himself into a lot of penalty trouble this season, has Matthew Henry. Got into a fight against Kyle Powell back in late October. And there you see the contact.
Yeah, just he shoved the defender off the play and went front of the skate to the back of the leg of Jack LaFontaine, and that's a dirty play there. You don't like to see that. It's definitely avoidable. Jack LaFontaine had his back turned towards him. He was kind of in the middle of the crease. Sometimes you like to see goaltenders go out to the top of the crease, try to get in the way of those guys to draw those penalties. That wasn't even the intention of Jack LaFontaine there. So hopefully the Mavericks can convert and make Matthew Henry pay for this.
Long shot by Crawford, stopped by Sashanik. It's loose on the doorstep and cleared. As LaFontaine comes well out of his net to tap it up to Crawford. Mavericks power play this season, 23rd best in the ECHL, 16.2% success rate. Souter gains the blue line. Fed above the right circle, Cotton moves in, he shoots, blocked. Swatted back to the line, Crawford wasn't there, so it slides its way back to LaFontaine, who will leave it for Crawford. Crawford loses the puck to Mikhailian. Mikhailian's given a shove by Souter. The Mavericks take back over. Here comes McCallum. Through center. Crosses the blue line, lost the puck. It slides in behind the Tulsa goal line. Cotton fighting for it against McKee. Souter takes it away. Bats it up to the point. Crawford. Cross to Jutting. Souter. Crawford. McCallum. Sharp angle shot blocked by Mike McKee. McCallum tries to secure possession, but the Oilers able to pounce on top of that and clear it down. 45 seconds to go in this power play. On the season, the Mavericks just 2 for 18 against Tulsa on the man advantage. Jack Randall gains the Oilers blue line. Dishes it to his left. Here's Lowhite above the left circle. Ewens now for Carew, right point. Janicki, outer hash marks, near wall. Gives it across, skate to stick reception. Carew just missed the right post. It's played down by Janicki, fed through, back for Ewens, long shot. Getting just a piece of it, Sashanik. The Oilers are out to center with this. They could have an odd man rush, shorthanded. Connor Smith from the circle with a shot, just missed. The Mavericks gain possession. Janicki leaves it for Casey Carew, who bursts into the offensive zone. His shot just missed. Thrown back in the front, and Lowhite's shot stopped by Sashanik, was able to hold the post. Good left pad save. We're in the final minute of play here in the first. The Mavericks dropping to 0 for 1 on the power play. Chances at both ends. Tulsa getting a pretty good shorthanded opportunity as Bergen draws a penalty himself. It's going to be a trip in all likelihood against Dylan Fitz and the Oilers. Back-to-back penalties called against Tulsa. And Dylan Fitz with penalties in back-to-back games after starting the season with just 2 PIMs through his first 16.
.37 Tulsa, 2 minutes, tripping.
So Fitz in the box. Drake Bergen drawing that tripping penalty. You can see Bergen gains inside positioning there. And Fitz, I think, brings him down, gets his skate in front of Bergen's skates, and trips him up. So the Mavericks to the power play for the second time. We'll try to go into the second period with a lead here. 45 seconds to go in the first. And unless the Mavericks can score, they will enter the second period with a good bit of time to work with on a power play. Mavericks heavily out shooting the Oilers 16-5 here. A low height to take the draw. He's joined by Randall, Janicki, Carew, and Zach Ewens. Ewens has it now. Carew, left circle, back up high for Ewens. Now to Janicki. Janicki is forced out to center as he backpedals in his own zone, leaves it now for Ewens. Ewens up to Jack Randall. Over the Tulsa blue line, rolls it around to the near wall. Carew back to Lowhite. 22 seconds. Lowhite's pass one-handed in by Ewens. Here's a chance for Randall with a toe drag. Goes wide on Canal. He will shovel it back up the boards. Lowhite. Now Ewens. Zach Ewens from the right circle gives it to Janicki. Between his stick and his skates, Randall rolls it around to Janicki. 2 seconds. Fans calling for a shot. I don't think Janicki realized how little time there was left. So the period expires. No score between the Mavericks and the Oilers. KC dominating the shots 16-5. And they will have 1 minute and 15 to work with on the power play when period 2 begins. Dylan Fitz serving a 2-minute minor for tripping. Mavericks 0 for 1 on the power play thus far. The first opportunity that they had came just seconds before they got their second chance, as it was an goaltender interference minor called against Matthew Henry. And about 30 seconds after that penalty expired, Dylan Fitz took a tripping penalty for Tulsa. We're going to send it down to Sean Carrier shortly, who will be standing by with Mavericks head coach and general manager Tad O'Had to get his thoughts on that opening 20 minutes. And we're going to send it down to Sean right now.
All right, Coach, pretty big shot discrepancy in your favor in the first period. What'd you make of your team start?
You know, I liked it. We got our feet underneath us. We played with pace and physicality. We wanted to put up 15-plus shots, and we did that.
About 1 minute 15 remaining on the second power play attempt for your team. What are you hoping to see out of your power play guys?
We want to convert. We need a goal here. We're putting a lot of pressure, but we need to get the puck in the net.
Awesome, Coach. Best of luck in the second.
All right, thank you very much, Sean. That was Sean Carrier with Tad O'Had. We're going to step aside Mavs country. When we come back, we'll have an out-of-town scoreboard update for you and more. Keep it right here. You're watching and listening to KC Mavericks Hockey.
When you have a financial partner that invests in every part of you, you can't help but feel like a star. Member-owned, open to all. Community America Credit Union, invested in you.
It's Coyote season now at Teague Tractor in Belton. If you need a machine that lifts, loads, pulls, and digs, wherever you need it, there's a Coyote right for you. See the full pack of Coyote tractors and skid steers at Teague Tractor. Durable, versatile, yet comfortable and convenient. Teague will put you in the Coyote with all the demands and features you require. Teague is a complete Coyote dealer with parts and full service. Pick your tough Coyote today at family-owned Teague Tractor, right off I-49 Belton.
Get ready for a wild adventure at the Kansas City Zoo and Aquarium. Experience the thrill of the animal kingdom like never before. Dive into Sobella Ocean Aquarium and discover the wonders of the deep blue sea. From fun rides to tasty treats, there's excitement around every corner. Create unforgettable memories with your favorite animals and favorite people. Kansas City Zoo and Aquarium, where every visit is a new adventure. Plan your visit today.
Welcome back, Mavs Country. Thanks so much for joining us tonight on the Mavericks Broadcast Network. Hope you're enjoying your Wednesday. The Mavericks, the Oilers playing each other in their second of 4 consecutive games against each other. No score through the opening 20. Sean, you had a chance to catch up with Tad O'Had to just get his thoughts on the first period. It sounds like he's pretty pleased with the way that his team played, and how could you not be? The Mavericks really dictated the tempo of play, it seemed like, in the first.
Absolutely. 15-plus shots is what they were shooting for, and they got 16. So they're doing a really nice job in each phase of the game. They're not really allowing Tulsa to set up, get anything offensively going. There's just no sustained pressure for the Oilers right now. The Mavericks defenders doing a really good job with good, clean first passes. They're sometimes eating contact and still making plays, so that's always the plus side to see. You flip that around on the offensive side of things. Guys are creating turnovers left and right, either in the neutral zone or in the offensive zone. There's some real nice pressure on their forecheck that they're generating a lot of turnovers, a lot of shots on right now. So for the Mavericks, you just got to stay the course. I'm sure that's what the message is in the locker room right now. I mean, like, look, we're doing everything right except for getting the puck in the back of the net. So Chanik has made a number of nice saves already in that first period. So hopefully the Mavericks can stick to this game plan. We talked about the Oilers. They have so much shot volume. They didn't really feel like they had a great scoring chance in that period outside of the later stages there on the penalty kill, actually. So Mavericks are doing a nice job here. It's only a matter of time until they find their first goal of the game.
Yeah, and a lot of that pressure that you mentioned, partner, it's leading to the Oilers making some mental lapses. They're icing the puck a lot during that first period. Probably 6 or 7 icings went against Tulsa. A lot of the times it was because of either just relentless pressure causing the Oilers to sort of get jittery with it and make a mistake, or just being worn down and exhausted and feeling like there was no alternative but to ice the puck. And you do that enough times, the Mavericks they've got enough guys who are so lights out in the face-off circle, they're going to get scoring chances from offensive zone draws. We saw a pretty good one from Luke Lohheit. Nolan Sullivan was able to win a clean draw and set him up on the left side of the offensive zone. Lohheit loves to just rip it off a draw like that. So it does seem like it's a matter of time. If the Mavericks keep playing the way that they are, they will eventually get one through Tomas Zachanik, who was perfect in that first period. 16 for 16 in goal for the Oilers. Jack LaFontaine was perfect himself, stopping all 5 shots that the Oilers sent his way. Let's take a look now at our out-of-town scoreboard update. We've had some wild games over the last couple of days here, Sean. This one, the Greensboro Gargoyles taking on the South Carolina Stingrays. This game was decided by a 4-2 final score in favor of South Carolina in North Charleston, South Carolina.
With the goalie fight to go with it. You always love to see those.
Absolutely. 113 combined penalty minutes. And yeah, that goalie scrap, that was a healthy bout between the two netminders.
You love to see that. Both goaltenders after that fight giving each other a little knuckles, little bump there. Always love to see two guys who respect the game. And goalies, they're sometimes a little bit weird, but sometimes they love to throw down too. They love to get involved in the action as well.
They certainly do. So South Carolina was able to hang on and win 4-2. And this game was also a barn burner in its own right, Sean. The Indy Fuel and the Kalamazoo Wings in a Central Division clash. And this game was on Sunday afternoon. It's the same start time as the Mavericks had in Tulsa. So while that game was going on, there was this very closely contested affair in Kalamazoo, Michigan at the Wings Event Center. The game ended up going to a shootout that lasted 12 rounds. So ultimately, it ended with Indy prevailing. Tough break for the Wings faithful who were there at the Wings Event Center in Kalamazoo, Michigan. But got to imagine, just for a goaltender, that's absolutely exhausting. And the goalies really held their own. Looking now at how many saves were made by both goaltenders, one going 10 for 12, the other going 11 for 12.
Alex, what do you think is the optimal amount of rounds for a shootout to go? The perfect blend of excitement, tension, and also, 12 feels a little extreme.
Yeah, I don't think it's 12. If you go back to 2014, the Sochi Winter Olympics, TJ Oshie and against it was basically Oshie versus the world, it felt like. But Russia kept alternating between Pavel Datsyuk and
Ilya Kovalchuk.
Ilya Kovalchuk, yes. Thank you, partner. It was that. I felt like that was the perfect length, personally. How about you?
I would say about the same. I think you nailed it with that one. That's obviously that's got to be the most exciting shootout that's happened in the, at least recent memory of hockey history. But it's always fun when I like the sudden death aspect of it. I love it when it's just one guy against a goaltender, and it feels so, impactful at that point. But man, 12 rounds just feels so extreme. And obviously only 3 of the 24 shots went in in that shootout today. So that feels pretty hefty, but you got to tip your hat to those goaltenders as well.
Yeah, you do. From what Logan Turnus was saying, you just interviewed him a couple of days ago, Sean, and he was saying he loves those situations, penalty shots, shootouts. He faces hundreds of them in practice. So, the way he looked at that Penalty shot attempt by Alex Aliardi. He said he didn't look at it any differently, and he managed to stay very calm, cool, and collected. So you wonder if the goaltenders really see the shootout as their time to shine, and just one-on-one, no nonsense, no puck accidentally deflecting in off your defenseman, no screens, just shooter versus goaltender. I haven't really talked to too many goalies about it, but I imagine a lot of them really enjoy the shootout.
You have to imagine. Logan Turnus is such a fun goaltender to interview as well. He's very young in his pro career. Talks a lot about how much help he's gotten from the other goaltenders, the coaching staff here in Kansas City. So Melissa is asking him about that penalty shot. His eyes almost lit up in that interview. He's like, oh, I love him. And so he's an incredibly fun guy. Glad he's here in Kansas City, obviously finding some success as well. But, he's ideally, we can see him chasing all these records that Jack LaFontaine keeps setting here.
And he is off to a very good start in his young pro career as Logan Turnus, 4-1 through 5 games played for the Mavericks so far. Let's take a look now at our active out-of-town scoreboard. These are the games that are going on right now or will begin today. There's only one game on the agenda for today that has not yet begun. It's the Idaho Steelheads Greensboro Gargoyles clash at 7:10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So puck drops for that affair in about 20 minutes or so from Boise. As for the other 3 games, the Adirondack Thunder hosting the Worcester Railers. The third period about to get underway in Glens Falls, New York tonight. The Thunder leading 3-0 in that tilt. We've got goals from Brian Carabes, Brandon McManus. He's got a pair. And then moving down to the Central, the Bloomington Bison, the Kalamazoo Wings squaring off in the Grosinger Motors Arena in Central Illinois. 1-1 the score through 20 minutes of play. Ryan Cox with the lone goal for Kalamazoo. Parker Gablis the lone strike for Bloomington. Again, that game 20 minutes in the books. And finally for the Mountain Division, the Allen Americans hosting the Wichita Thunder right now. One period has concluded at the Credit Union of Texas Event Center in Allen, Texas. The Thunder with a commanding 3-0 lead over the Allen Americans through period 1. Matt Krasa scored twice. Jay Dickman piled on a third. So the visiting Wichita Thunder really taking it to the Allen Americans, who, despite the score as of now, have been a very heavily improved team from last season. Currently the Americans and Thunder battling it out for the 4th and final playoff spot in the Mountain Division standings. If Wichita wins tonight, they will tie the Americans with 33 points in the Mountain Division, unless of course the game goes to overtime and the Americans would then get a point. But it's a very tight race for that 4th and final playoff spot. 4 teams within 4 points of each other. At the top of the Mountain Division, it's a similar story. The Mavericks, the Steelheads, the Night Monsters, all within 5 points for spots 1 through 3, respectively. That wraps up your out-of-town scoreboard updates, and here's a look at the ECHL standings. As we were saying, the Mavericks lead the Mountain Division, which has got to feel great for them. You win enough games in a row, this has got to happen eventually, but it felt like it took way longer than it should have, Sean, because the Mavericks and the Steelheads were just doing a great job keeping pace with each other. The Mavericks finally were able to not just pass them, but also build on that advantage with the win over Tulsa on Sunday.
Absolutely, and it helps as well when you play and you get a win in a day where that other team isn't playing, and the Mavericks still have one more game at hand over the Steelhead team as well. So a little bit more wiggle room, hopefully, to climb up further than the Steelheads. But like you mentioned, this was a long time coming for this Mavericks group. The Mavericks 8-1 and 0-1 with a shootout loss in their last 10 games, and the Steelheads were right there with them for so long, but 7-2-1 in their last 10, but they finally faltered in their last game. So good to see the Mavericks get back on top of the Mountain Division, right where they belong. They certainly have earned the right to be there, and you just got to hope that they can continue to build off this great win streak they've got going.
Absolutely. With that win streak being now 6 games, the Mavericks have the second longest active winning streak in the ECHL this season, behind only the Toledo Walleye, who've won 10 straight. They've got points in 11 straight, so they are just on an absolute roll. The Mavericks will not face the Walleye during the regular season at least, but very well could be a Western Conference Finals rematch at some point, as both teams are doing very well again this season, both at the top of their respective divisions. That wraps up our standings update, folks. We're going to take another pause on the Mavericks Broadcast Network. Don't go anywhere. You're watching and listening to KC Mavericks Hockey.
We're proud to be community partners with an awesome organization, Given the Basics. That's why throughout the month of January, we're taking part in the Ultimate Goal Challenge.
The mission of the challenge is to donate one of the 20 essential products to people and families in need. And with your donation, you will help adults and children feel dignity and confidence every day.
However you choose to donate, just know you're making a real impact.
Thank you for supporting Giving the Basics and the Mavericks.
Go Mavs!
Fine, high-end, the upper echelon. That is our guiding principle. The extraordinary. At every level, at every turn, and in every interaction. Why? Simple. To offer the absolute finest luxury car experience in Kansas City. That is what it means to be an aristocrat. Aristocrat Motors, where we treat every driver like royalty.
When you have a financial partner that invests in every part of you, you can't help but feel like a star. Member owned, open to all. Community America Credit Union, invested in you.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at those first period highlights. Lots of chances for the Mavericks in the opening 20. 16 shots on goal. Tato had said he wanted 15 plus. That's exactly what his team managed to do. They kept the Oilers to just 5. And there was that excellent two-line pass by Jeremy Biakabatuka over 3 sticks right on the tape. It led to that scoring chance for Dakota Seaman. Not phasing LaFontaine in the slightest.
Yeah, not sure if this caught a piece of Charlie Wright's stick or not as well, but Jack LaFontaine looked laser focused there in that first period.
And there was a huge hit thrown by Sullivan to knock Matthew Henry down and then get a pretty good scoring chance out of it. And that line generating some good looks as well on Berezowski for Carew to Cotton, whose one-timer was fought off by Sashanik, one of his better saves of the period.
You just have to like what this line is doing right now. They're generating offense in such a variety of different ways. Jackson Berezowski transitioning back to center. Great move by Tato Hat.
Absolutely was. And here's Lucas Sauter with a pretty good scoring chance. Tomas Sashanik able to get his shoulder up and make that stop on Lucas Sauter, who can really fire it, as he's shown since returning from that 11-game absence. Zach Ewan's getting a nice shot through a screen as well. Sashanik making a couple of second saves on Will Gavin.
Will Gavin unfortunately couldn't elevate that puck. If he would have, it would have gone in the net, but Sashanik just doing a really nice job keeping the puck out right now.
Yeah, that might have been Sashanik's best save of the period on Will Gavin, kicking out that left pad and making the stop. So it's been another goaltender's duel here, partner. That's starting to become a recurring theme here for the Mavericks, which is maybe a little bit unexpected. The Mavericks are one of the higher scoring teams in the ECHL. Right now, 7th in the league in goals for per game at 3.27. And the Oilers, not necessarily a high scoring team, but pretty good offensive metrics. They're top 5 in shots per game, top 5 power play unit. And so far, this series has just been a defensive grind, at least through Sunday's game and the first period of today's game.
It was a defensive grind as well for the Mavericks on both Friday and Saturday night too against the Fort Wayne Comets. That was a big physical battle, and I think the Mavericks have really used that to their advantage. On Sunday, it was a little bit more of a back and forth game, but they finally got some time to rest, and they look rejuvenated right now. Like Coach mentioned, they got their legs under them, and they're throwing some big hits as well. It's like they have some muscle memory going back to what happened last weekend, and they're trying to carry it into this 4-game series here against the Oilers.
Right. 3-2 was the final on Friday, 2-1 on Saturday, 1-0 on Sunday. So these games have just been getting progressively lower scoring by the day. The puck drops, period 2 underway. The Mavericks with a minute 10 to work with on this power play, as Dylan Fitz is serving that 2-minute minor for tripping Drake Bergen late in period 2. Excuse me, in period 1. So the Mavericks going to work on the man advantage. Landon McCallum slides it ahead for Lucas Souter. He gains an edge. He sends it across. He wanted Cotton just outside of his reach. Crawford for Cotton. Back up high, Crawford. Now Souter, left point. Drops it back for Crawford. McCallum, right circle. Now Crawford to the one-timer, blocked and cleared by Josh Nelson. Good movement by the Mavericks on this man advantage. They've got 32 seconds remaining on it. Crawford deals it to Souter, who steps in over the Tulsa blue line. Drops it back for Judding. His shot is off the mark. McCallum, right point. To the goal line for Cotton. Shielding the puck. His pass missing Judding. Souter keeps it in the attacking zone. Mike McKee wraps it around the boards. McCallum, good keep. Now Crawford. Now Souter. Left circle. Back for Crawford in the slot. He waits. Lost the puck. It's flung towards McCallum by Judding. Broken up by McKee. Puck rolls into the circle. Picked up by McCallum. He fanned on the pass. Canal takes him off the puck. Cotton collects it. Surrounded by Oilers. Here's Souter from the circle. Gives it over to McLaughlin. He's got a step. He decides to take it in behind the net. McLaughlin sends it back to the slot. Here's a shot. Just sails over the net. Berezowski misfiring. McCallum. Excellent spin move to gain some space. Crawford. Here's a one-timer by McLaughlin. Blocked. Gathered again by McLaughlin. Sent down to the corner on the far side. Luke Lowheight. His pass missing Crawford. The Oilers will get some fresh legs spilling over the boards here. Roman Canal staying out there. Lowheight steps into the slot and shoots. The save is made by Soshanik. McMaster will storm back into the KC zone. He is met by Drake Bergen in the corner on the near side. Now McLaughlin turns with it. Lowheight. Now to McLaughlin. 2:15 have expired in the second. No score between the Mavericks and the Oilers, but it's really been all Mavericks in this game for the most part. A couple of chances coming on that power play, and then the seconds after the power play in which Tulsa struggled to get players off the ice. Nolan Sullivan takes over for KC. Good stretch pass finds Janicki. Left circle. Janicki drives. Takes it to the far circle. Wheels up into the high slot. Tries to send it to the side of the net. Wanted Jimmy Glynn. Picked off by the Oilers and sent back the other way. Josh Nelson. Drops it back. Here's a shot. They score. It is Andrei Bakanov from the right circle, making his Oilers debut tonight. The Russian forward able to beat Jack LaFontaine through the 5-hole and give the Oilers a 1-0 lead.
Alex, I'm not sure if this one was a 5-hole shot or if this one actually was initial save by Jack LaFontaine that bounced off of someone in front. Take another look at it here. Oh, excuse me. It was just a 5-hole shot there. Not sure if it got a little bit of a tip on the way, but this one is able to just beat Jack LaFontaine clean. And it's so unfortunate that the Mavericks are losing in this game because they are playing so well. And just sometimes it's just one shot goes in and the other ones don't, and that's what's happening for the Mavericks right now.
The Mavericks tripling the Oilers in shots on goal, 18-6, but they find themselves trailing now 1-0. Tulsa's first goal of the series so far. McCallum fishes that puck free, tries to work it up to the point for Wilson, chipped past him by Keegan Iverson. And McKylian races after it. It's sent around to the far wall. Connor Smith takes it behind the net. Tries to feed Canal above the right circle. It's secured by Zachary Brooks and rimmed around to the far corner. Jammed up and off the wall. Canal's able to keep it going as he works against McCallum for possession. Taken by McCallum. Now played by Wilson. Banked off the boards. He wanted Randall. Icing called against KC as the pass from Wilson to Randall just missed him.
It's a good attempt. Jack Randall, you love him trying to utilize his speed, recognizes that Hudson Wilson's not really facing any pressure, so he opts to try to get up the wall, use that speed to create a breakaway, and just very, very close to a breakaway opportunity for Jack Randall there. Nice attempt from Hudson Wilson. Good recognition altogether on the play, and the Mavericks suffer probably their first icing in this game.
They've been very disciplined with their passes, and they've been crisp and on the tape. That was a rare example of an icing called against KC. We'll see what the Oilers can do. They turn it over as Charlie Wright takes it away. McCallum goes back up for Wright, and the two youngsters connecting on that give and go, but the Oilers take it away as Fitz fires off the stick of LaFontaine. Played now, side of the net, Fitz back to the point, McKee. Left point drive, stopped by LaFontaine. And Armstrong tries to work it back to McKee. Taken away by the Mavericks. Charlie Wright with his head up. Advance it past Randall. Icing called again against KC. And that's a tough pill to swallow. The Mavericks have some tired bodies out there, and Charlie Wright was so close to that red line.
That is a tough pill to swallow. The first icing you don't really mind because a lot of these Mavericks players were rested. It wasn't a tired leg situation. This is the complete opposite. All the same bodies from the last icing still out there now. You're looking for a little bit of a soft chip as you're going to try to rotate some of your guys off the ice. It all starts with a face-off draw here for Jackson Jutting.
It looked like that last shot by Fitz' partner might have grazed the elbow of the net. Looked like it might have deflected off of the shaft of LaFontaine's stick as well, but we play on here. The Mavericks get some fresh bodies out there. Crawford's pass finds Carew. Carew tried to go along the blue line for Berezowski, intercepted by Tyler Poulsen. And now this is Biaka Batuka, his pass misfiring. Cotton now in the slot, lost the puck, tried to feed it out to Berezowski, outside of his reach. Poulsen turned it over to Crawford. Carew's got to wait, he's onside. Carew into the slot, Berezowski fanning on that shot. Cotton now, down for Ewens. Carew back to the point. Cotton tees it up, shoots, stopped by Sashanik. Cotton's had a couple of shots from that left point. He intercepts the clearing attempt, steps into the circle, dropped off for Crawford with a shot, stopped by Sashanik.
Crawford had the right idea here. I think he was trying to look for a tip for Berezowski, who's crashing kind of on the backdoor side. Normally, you see Marcus Crawford with that heavy shot, and he waits just a little bit here, kind of launches this puck out and along the ice. It's the right idea. An incredibly close chance there between Jackson Berezowski and Marcus Crawford. Look at these Mavericks defenders just with the way that they're ripping the puck right now. Just so much offense is generated from their blue line. It really doesn't matter who's out there on the ice. There's at least one or two guys willing to jump in and participate when the situation calls for it.
That was an excellent shift by David Cotton. The Mavericks win the offensive zone draws. McLaughlin fires from the left point. Sashanik able to hang on. And Cotton on that last shift, partner, with a good left point shot and setting up Crawford, like you mentioned, in the high slot. And it looked like he wanted Jackson Berezowski, who's excellent with that net front presence. Very good at deflecting pucks and battling for ice in front of the opposing goal. Low height, kicks it up to his stick. High slot, turns at the net, redirects, they score! They're waving it off. We will get a look at this. We might say it was a distinct kicking motion. The officiating crew gathering now. Sullivan leads the celebration. And we'll see what happens here with this review.
Now we'll definitely take another look at it here.
The previous play is under review.
Definitely looks like someone out in front may have gotten a skate on it. Was it a distinct kicking motion? We shall see. Provided by some great camera work here in the Cable Dahmer Arena. But Luke Lohheit has the right idea from the high slot. Just get the puck to the front of the net. And you see Sullivan right there. He's definitely moving his legs in some capacity, but was it a distinct kicking motion at any point? It's really hard to tell. Referees have their work cut out for them here. This will probably provide a better look at it. Man, this one's incredibly tight. I think this one goes off of kind of the back leg.
It looked like it was Sullivan's right skate. He was reacting to it just as the puck was hitting his skate. And guys there on the bench giving him a hard time. The goal certainly took a lot of skill. Nobody can debate that. Excellent coordination and awareness by Nolan Sullivan. And now you're seeing why the guys play all that two-touch in the hallway warming up before games. But yeah, I think, partner, maybe the fact that it was called no goal on the ice might be weighing against the Mavericks here, as conclusive evidence would be needed to overturn the call on the ice.
Yeah, it's just a really tough situation on the ice what the referees are dealing with right now.
Well, that's Souter. That's not the guy who allegedly kicked the puck in.
Really interesting situation. It seems like the Mavericks might take a kick to get to the puck towards the back of the net right now with the way Thomas Suchanek is playing. He's been phenomenal in nets, but the Mavericks are going to want to keep generating these chances. I mean, 21 shots on goal already, just 5 minutes into the second period. That's an astronomical total, and here's a call on the ice.
After further review, the call on the ice is overturned. We have a good goal.
So Nolan Sullivan is swarmed on the KC bench after that incredibly skillful play. What a display of foot-eye coordination by Nolan Sullivan. He's got his 5th goal of the season, and we're all tied up at a goal apiece.
I mean, shocker, a great play by Luke Lohheit at the top of the zone, and then Nolan Sullivan right in front. He's going to have to start paying rent in that area with how much he goes there. Just awesome to see this Mavericks group get on the board. A little bit of a wonky one, but sometimes that's what it takes.
And the Mavericks will certainly take that. It took 22 shots on goal for them to finally solve Tomas Suchanek. Bergen out of Randall, crosses the blue line. McCallum into the slot. Jutting whipped on that, and it's played by Armstrong for Tulsa. Slides it up as far as the red line, taken away by Bergen. Now Jake McLaughlin. Back for Bergen. Long stretch pass. Randall drops it for Jutting. Cruising in. His shot flutters wide. Randall to Jutting. Sidesteps a body. Flings it to the point. Hudson Wilson into the slot. One-timer by Wright is blocked by Adam McMaster, who got his stick in the shooting lane.
I think the great thing for the Mavericks right now is how quickly they're regrouping. They're forcing so many turnovers at their offensive blue line, and then they're getting right back in the zone. It's great to see, and hopefully they can finally take the lead here coming up right after this break.
It's Coyote season now at Teague Tractor in Belton. If you need a machine that lifts, loads, pulls, and digs wherever you need it, there's a Coyote right for you. See the full pack of Coyote tractors and skid steers at Teague Tractor. Durable, versatile, yet comfortable and convenient. Teague will put you in the Coyote with all the demands and features you require. Teague is a complete Coyote dealer with parts and full service. Pick your tough Coyote today at family-owned Teague Tractor, right off I-49 Belton.
Get ready for a wild adventure at the Kansas City Zoo and Aquarium. Experience the thrill of the animal kingdom like never before. Dive into Sobella Ocean Aquarium and discover the wonders of the deep blue sea. From fun rides to tasty treats, there's excitement around every corner. Create unforgettable memories with your favorite animals and favorite people. Kansas City Zoo and Aquarium, where every visit is a new adventure. Plan your visit today.
Welcome back, folks. 13:43 to go in the second. Alex Von Koitel, Sean Carrier with you. Glad you could join us on your Wednesday night. The Mavericks have just tied the game. Nolan Sullivan with a borderline circus act with that right skate, able to redirect the puck past Tomas Suchanek with an excellent display of coordination, tying things up for the Mavericks. Lucas Satter and Luke Lohheit on the assists. The goal coming less than 3 minutes after Andrei Bakanov opened the scoring for Tulsa. So we are tied up at a goal apiece. 13:40 to go in the second as Dougie Legrone takes over inside of the Tulsa trapezoid. Angles it off the boards. Wilson intercepts that. He will bounce it back in. Mike McKee's got it. His pass missing everything. That'll be icing called against Tulsa.
Mavericks have just done such a good job with their forecheck in this game. They're just building so much pressure. 6.5 minutes into this period. They've only allowed 2 shots on goal. Unfortunately, one of them went in. But the Mavericks are very quick to answer with Nolan Sullivan's goal. And they don't ask how, they ask how many, and that's goal number 5 for Nolan Sullivan on the year. This Mavericks team just continuing to ramp up their pressure, wreaking havoc for some of these Oilers defensemen.
They are. It's been just about all Mavericks here in this game so far as Wilson taps it over to Wright, who's shot from the circle. Pinball's wide. It was blocked on the way through. Wright sockers it along for Jimmy Glynn. Kept alive at the point. Fed down to Janicki. Tries to one-hand it into the slot. Gavin takes over for KC. Swatted off his stick back to the point. Wilson's shot doesn't get through. Picked up by Legrone. He can't clear it. Wilson down the half wall. Bounces it behind the net. Janicki's wrapped up by Mike McKee. Good hit thrown by Gavin. He dispossesses Josh Nelson of the puck. Gets some assistance from Jimmy Glynn. Bounced into the high slot. Now Charlie Wright with a shot blocker save by Sashanik. Hudson Wilson wanted Will Gavin there. Pass intercepted. Dougie Legrone will send it out just past the blue line. And we get a whistle. It's going to be a boarding penalty. I believe it'll be against Will Gavin.
Yeah, this one's a little bit unfortunate. Will Gavin had an absolutely phenomenal shift, just continually building that offensive pressure. He won so many puck battles in the corners to keep possession in the Mavericks' favor.
Kansas City, 37, 2 minutes for boarding.
And all of a sudden he's going after one more. Just gets a little too much with Tyler Polson going into the wall. He's going to sit down here. You like the ferociousness, and Polson probably could have put himself in a better position there. He kind of stopped with his body a couple feet off the boards, and that's the danger zone for taking a hit. Yes, it was Will Gavin that delivered a board, but as a player, you never want to be in the situation with your back towards the center of the ice, a foot off the board with the puck on your stick.
Right, so Gavin given the boarding penalty, the Mavericks to the penalty kill for the first time tonight. They have fought off 17 consecutive penalties. Their PK has been red hot. It's tapped up to the high slot, Jeremy Biaka-Batuka. This is J.C. Broussard. Biaka-Batuka, here's a one-timer by McMaster, stopped by LaFontaine. Got it with the stick. McMaster recovers near half wall. Deals it up to the point. Biaka-Batuka into the slot with a shot, fought off LaFontaine, and the rebound battled for by Armstrong. He feeds it out to J.C. Broussard. The Mavericks take that away. They drill it all the way down. And they'll get a few fresh bodies out there. Ewens looks to get off as well if he can. He's going to decide to play it safe. Stays out there for the time being. Jeremy Biaka-Batuka. Very skilled offensive-minded defenseman for the Oilers. And McMaster in the direction of Armstrong. And behind the net, the Mavericks take it away and clear it again. Tomas Sashanik behind his net. The Mavericks have already killed off more than half of this penalty. Biaka-Batuka takes over with 11:12 to go in the second period. And Bakanov drops into the Mavericks zone. LaFontaine rims it around. Legrone not able to keep the puck in. Here comes Jackson Jutting the other way. He pulls up, waits for some reinforcements, tries to filter it through, taken away by the Oilers. They could have a 2-on-1 rush as Bakanov gives it across, broken up by Jake McLaughlin on the back check. Now it's put in behind the net by Adam McMaster. Drake Bergen throws the body on Bakanov, and the puck ends up in the circle on the far side. Poulsen pursuing it. Randall jams it along and tries to dangle his way through Roman Canal. Dougie Legrone takes over for Tulsa now. Bakanov, the lone Oilers goal scorer so far in this series, will slide it back to Dougie Legrone. Now Canal. Legrone again, down the left side, gains the line. The Mavericks have successfully fought it off. And they've now killed off 18 in a row. Lob pass, here's a chance, Janicki to the goal. Pad save by Tomas Sashanik. What an excellent idea, the old alley-oop play that nearly led to a goal for Justin Janicki.
Unbelievable pass on that play. I think it was Souter all the way from the defensive zone with the recognition to realize Janicki had a step, and like you mentioned, a little alley-oop play almost proved to be fruitful.
Janicki right back into the attacking zone, draws a tripping penalty against J.C. Broussard. And the veteran defenseman's going to have a seat. The Mavericks back to the power play for the third time tonight.
Excuse me, I think that was Jimmy Glynn who made this pass.
Tulsa, 43, 2 minutes tripping.
Mavericks to the power play when we come back. Welcome back inside Cable Dama Arena. Here's another look at the trip. Justin Janicki getting his feet tied up in J.C. Broussard's stick, and no argument from Broussard. He went straight to the penalty box. The Mavericks to the power play for the third time tonight. Still looking for their first lead of the game. Jackson Judding against Josh Nelson. Won by Judding, secured by Souter. Given up high, Crawford can't get a shot through. Backhander, they score! Landon McCallum following up on Crawford's initial shot. Backhanded it past Tomasichenek's blocker from the slot. Landon McCallum's 8th goal of the season gives the Mavericks a 2-1 lead.
Last time he scored, it was an impressive forehand shot. This time on the backhand, fruitful bounce right to that slot area. And the skill it takes to take a puck that is off balance and backhand it from the hash marks and put it far side on a goaltender. Landon McCallum take a bow. What a shot to give the Mavericks the lead.
And both of the goals that the Mavericks have scored here have just been so remarkable in terms of the skill involved. With Sullivan's clever skate deflection and McCallum's very skillful backhander. As that shot from Legrone is steered away by LaFontaine off the protective netting, we get a whistle. Faceoff will stay in the Maverick zone. And here's another look at that goal. Started with a clean win on the draw by Jackson Judding. Unfortunately, Judding will not get an assist. Souter and Crawford will, but gosh, to not stick handle that puck at all, partner, that just takes so much confidence on the part of Landon McCallum.
Backhand one-timers, we love them.
Didn't even know that was a thing.
I don't think it is, but it was an incredible play by Landon McCallum nonetheless. Happy for him. Incredibly young guy, having a great sophomore season with this Mavericks team.
Landon McCallum led all rookies in scoring on the Mavericks last season as the Mavericks send the puck on net, so no icing here. Instead, it's played by Tomasichenok, who will take a defensive zone draw as he covers up that puck in the blue paint. McCallum last season, 39 points in his rookie campaign with the Mavericks. Played 4 seasons with the Sudbury Wolves in the Ontario Hockey League. Had a goal and 2 assists in the Fort Wayne series, and he's already got 22 points in 31 games played this season, this being his 31st, as a one-timer by Carew is off target. Mike McKee is able to hoist this one out to the neutral zone as it bounces near the KC logo at center. It's drilled in by Armstrong. LaFontaine stops it. And Cotton is able to advance it as far as Casey Carew. He's bumped off the puck. Zachary Brooks for Tulsa. Shovels it below the KC goal line. Cotton back to scoop it up. Ewens for Crawford. 8.5 to play in the second. 2-1 Mavericks. Shots heavily favoring KC, 26-9. Casey Carew tried to dangle by Roman Canal. Very stout defenseman. Had other ideas. And now here comes Zach Brooks the other way. Dropped off. Point shot. Stopped by LaFontaine. Other side, it's Connor Smith. Couldn't get his shot through as it ricochets off the corner boards on the far side. Now it's centered. Here's a chance. They score. It is Justin McKylian, Brendan McKylian's brother, able to score. It looked like it might have been another 5-hole goal against Jack LaFontaine. The Oilers able to tie things up at 2 goals apiece.
Yeah, this one's unfortunate. I don't think McKylian was... I can't tell if he was trying to stick handle in front or he was actually trying to put this 5-hole, but he kind of fans on the shot. He doesn't get everything that he wants on it, and it kind of freezes Jack LaFontaine. And all of a sudden, this thing just trickles 5-hole on him. Unfortunate here. The Mavericks had to claw and fight their way, make sure that they got that lead, and it evaporates right in front of their eyes. But just still, it's just crazy at this point in this game that we're tied over halfway through. The Mavericks are dominating play on the ice, and there's just these awkward situations, awkward plays that have cost him 2 goals.
Now the scoreboard very misleading right now. 2-2 is the score, but you look at the shots on goal and it'll cause you to scratch your head a little bit in confusion as the Mavericks force a turnover. Souter, low height, back and behind the net. Souter's got it. Tries to center, bounces out to McLaughlin. He will bank it to low height, who overskates the puck. And now Connor Smith for Tulsa. Wraps it around, can't clear it. Sullivan puts it behind the net. Low height, goes up to the point. McLaughlin now for Bergen. Bergen down the half wall for Will Gavin. Sets up McLaughlin at the line. Low height from the circle with a shot. Ripped it wide of the short side post. Bergen, low height. High slot, long shot. Ricochets on goal. Fought off by Sashanik. I don't think he ever saw it, but he stopped it.
Looked like they were on a power play there with the way they were able to move the puck in the offensive zone. They weren't facing a lot of pressure. A lot of their passes came very easily to them there. And he loved the recognition from Luke Lowhite. He sees that he's got his teammate Nolan Sullivan in front once again. And he recognizes it's almost the same situation that they scored a goal on earlier in this period. So he just lets that thing go and unfortunately goes up and out of play. But that line is having a wildly successful night here.
Yeah, they certainly are. Jimmy Glynn really digging in to try to win the face-off, but the Oilers skate away with it. Jeremy Biaka-Batuka down the right side. Sends it at the net. LaFontaine will hang on to that with his glove. Jeremy Biaka-Batuka, the highest scoring defenseman on the Oilers this season and last season. He's on an NHL contract with the Anaheim Ducks. And his uncle, Shimanga, was a running back for the Carolina Panthers. And a first-round draft pick and the all-time rushing leader, if I'm not mistaken, in Michigan Wolverines history. Pretty athletic family, I guess.
You have to imagine. It's a lot of pedigree, a lot of talent, one family. Biaka-Batuka to be on an NHL contract, it's a massive accomplishment, and I'm sure he's doing everything he can to work himself onto the Anaheim Ducks roster, and they could potentially use him. They're not having the greatest stint as of late.
They got off to a very good start this season, did the Ducks, but have stalled a bit lately. And here's a shot, turnaround bid from Fitz, fought off by LaFontaine as the puck bounces in behind the net. And Will Gavin wrapped it around. The Mavericks able to clear this, but a little bit too far, as icing is the call against KC. J.C. Broussard back to touch it up for the Oilers. And when you look at this decor for Tulsa, Sean, just so many pro games under their belts. Dougie Legrone, 31 years of age in his 4th season as an Oiler. Mike McKee playing in his 9th season as an Oiler. J.C. Broussard, 30 years of age, been in the league for a few years. And then Biaka-Batuka, who's very young still, but already pretty experienced in the ECHL. A lot of tenured defensemen on this Tulsa blue line. Keegan Iverson takes over at center. We'll roll this puck in behind LaFontaine's net. He drops it, and it's been whacked around to the near half wall. Gavin can't clear this. 6.5 to play in the second. Here's a big bad turnover and fired just over top of the net. And it's flung back towards the net, goes wide of it and around the boards and out to center. Tulsa will regroup as Justin McKylian drops it back in. The most recent goal scorer for Tulsa. That was just his 2nd goal of the season. I originally identified him as Brendan McKylian, the brother of Justin, who plays for the Toledo Walleye. Here's Berezowski, left side. To his backhand, takes it behind the net, sets up Carew, who tried to fling it through the crease. He just missed Cotton's stick. Berezowski backhands it low. Cotton is there. Legrone beat him to it, but Berezowski takes it away. David Cotton trying to shield it from Dougie Legrone. Works it up the boards. Pivots with it. Gets some help from Carew, but the puck flutters out to the red line. Ewens flies it in on net. Sashanik gloves it down and drops it off for Mike McKee. 5:23 to go in the second. 2-2 your score. Alex Von Koitel and Sean Carrier with you on the Mavericks Broadcast Network tonight. LaFontaine steers this to his left. Zach Ewens steps out in front of his own net with it. Up to Jackson Jutting. Bounces it in on target. Stopped by Sashanik with the glove. Mike McKee wraps it around. Crawford goes tumbling as the puck skitters its way back towards LaFontaine. He will drop it for Jake McLaughlin. Looked like Crawford had some words there for Chaz Noki. A big hit thrown by Crawford. He's able to just deck Easton Armstrong behind the net. Here's a chance. Randall moves in. He shoots. Punched away by Sashanik. Randall recovers the puck. He turns from Armstrong. Puts it down to the goal line. McCallum with a sharp angle bid that goes high. Played by Jutting. Flung into the corner on the near side. McCallum into the middle. Drive by McLaughlin goes wide. Dylan Fitz able to clear this out to the red line. Crawford on the intercept, skates it back in, down the right side. That's Bergen, I beg your pardon. He will carry behind the net. Drake Bergen stays on his skates after absorbing a check from Connor Smith. Now Sullivan to the goal. Backhander stopped by Sashanik, and he's got it.
Well, the physicality in this one is certainly ramping up. You saw some contact between Crawford and Armstrong a couple of times. Then Armstrong delivers a check and then gives a little bit of a two-hander to one of the Mavericks players as well. But the Mavericks, with a great move towards the front of the net, can't find the go-ahead goal. Hopefully they will find it coming up right after this.
Fairway is a proud sponsor of the KC Mavericks and offers the best meats in town, hands down. Head to a market near you to check out the wide selection of steaks, chicken, burgers, brats, barbecue, deli, and much more. Whether it's for the grill or the smoker, Fairway has you covered at every corner. Stop by any of their locations, conveniently located in South KC, Northland KC, and Overland Park, or visit fairwaymeatmarket.com. The Mavericks go to work on an offensive zone faceoff. Sullivan to take it against Zachary Brooks. And Duncan McGarrah, the linesman, had some words for both of them. Clean win by Sullivan. Charlie Wright down to the far corner. Souter had it escape him. Sullivan turns it back down for Souter. Operating below the goal line. Works it up to the line for Wright. A bit of a mishandle, and the Oilers chop it out. Keegan Iverson caught on an offside, so we get a stoppage. This faceoff will come back out to neutral ice, and I don't think Hudson Wilson was too fond of that shot after the whistle.
Yeah, it was just a little backhand shovel, but one of those unspoken rules of the game. Don't like to put the puck towards a goaltender after a whistle like that. And you understand why there's some words going back and forth in this situation, but Nolan Sullivan potentially saved a breakaway there. A little bit of an awkward play with Charlie Wright. Didn't quite get his shot or his pass through to the center of the ice, and Nolan Sullivan had to make a really nice lunging play with the stick just to be able to get a piece of the puck. Jay McLaughlin was hustling to catch up to one of the Oilers that was streaking up the ice. So that deflection potentially saved a breakaway opportunity there. Now the referees are having some words with the Oilers coaching staff, as this one's going to come towards the near side of the ice in favor of the Mavericks, as the offsides play was passed from that area of the ice. So on offsides, it's not automatically just out of the attacking zone. Sometimes it comes back to where the puck was passed from. So that's why you're seeing this face-off being taken right in front of the Mavericks bench and not the Oilers bench.
So you wonder if Tad O'Had is arguing that it should stay in the Tulsa zone, and Rob Murray arguing that it should come up to the KC blue line.
Well, the pass was definitely let go from inside the Mavericks attacking zone. And typically you don't give a team an advantage, and taking the puck outside of the attacking zone for the Mavericks would be giving the Oilers the advantage. Not sure if that's what that conversation was about or if it was regarding something else, but outside the zone for the Mavericks, it will be David Cotton, Jackson Berezowski, Casey Carew, forwards on the ice.
That's generally a sign of a good compromise, right? When both parties are kind of upset. And that's what happened on that neutral zone draw. The Oilers come away with this. Biaka Batuka down the right side. And over the KC line, drops it for a one-timer. Fought off by LaFontaine with the blocker. Secured by J.C. Broussard. Above the right circle, put it on goal. Tipped on that, stopped by LaFontaine. Puck cleared to the half wall on the far end. Put in behind the net for Dylan Fitz, who shovels it along the boards. Out to the point, J.C. Broussard. Now Biaka Batuka from the left point. Drills it back behind the net. Dylan Fitz. And they battle for it. Worked up to Casey Carew. Half wall on the far side of the KC zone. Here's a chance for Fitz, who just missed wide of the left post. Taken away by Wright. And the Mavericks get this puck out. David Cotton looked like might have been short of the red line. He was, so icing called against KC. And the linesman signaling to the KC bench to send some players back out there. That's Jake Paw, the linesman.
Well, you heard someone on the ice go, no way, after the icing call, and you can understand why. It definitely looked like David Cotton got that red line, and then if nothing else, it may have looked like it was also deflected by one of the Oilers players. So now you got some tired bodies out there. Hudson Wilson, Charlie Wright, both out there on the back end, and once again, it's Casey Carew, Jackson Berezowski, and David Cotton on the forward side of things. So you're hoping to win the draw, and just like Jack Randall did a couple of minutes ago, you're just looking for a soft chip out of the zone.
The Mavericks able to get this puck out of their own zone, but not quite far enough to get some changes. Tyler Poulsen left side with a shot. That one's blocked and out of play, so Mavericks will get some fresh personnel out there. They'll send a clean slate, 5 new players out there to take the defensive zone faceoff with 2:37 to play in the second period. Shots favoring KC 29-16. All the goals in this game have been scored in this period. Face-off won by the Oilers in the offensive zone. Dougie Legrone with a long point shot that's blocked. It flutters about 100 feet in the air as it lands in the neutral zone. McCallum backhands it to Jutting. Now it's Randall into the slot. McCallum with a shot blocked. Finds Randall. His shot denied by Sashanik. What a save, but he loses his stick. And now it's played to the near wall. Tyler Poulsen able to hoist this one out. Sashanik gets his stick back. The Oilers are on a delayed offside. McCallum takes over for KC. Crawford for Ewens. That might have been Sashanik's best save of the game so far. Nice stick handling by Randall. But the Mavericks on a delayed offside now. Randall's stick breaks, so he skates to the KC bench. Legrone goes up the middle. Here's Tyler Poulsen. Crisscrossing in over the blue line. Tried to send it down low. Wanted Zachary Brooks. Never quite reached him. Brooks applying pressure on the forecheck. Delivers a hit. The Mavericks take over. It's bounced out to center. Landon McCallum's got it, as he will just twist into the Tulsa zone. He's at the end of a shift, so he will head off. And now it's played by Lowhite. Nice pass to himself. Gets the give-and-go play. His shot fought off by Sashanik. Good return pass from Sullivan to Lowhite, as Souter is brought down in the neutral zone by Justin McKylian. Souter draws a penalty, so the Mavericks will be going back to the power play for the 4th time tonight. They converted on their last opportunity on the man advantage. Landon McCallum with that backhand one-timer. If such a thing exists, that's what it was. So McKylian being sent down the tunnel, actually.
Tulsa, number 16, has a 5-minute major and a game misconduct for slew footing.
Slew footing, the call against Justin McKylian, and that is not a call you see very often at all. He was wrapped up with Lucas Souter in the neutral zone. Originally, it just looked like a trip, but Chaz Noki saw something a lot more malicious than a mere trip. We'll get another look here. As McKylian and Souter are wrapped up with one another on the bottom left side of your screen. McKylian sort of gets his skates in behind Souter and upends him from behind, and that is a dangerous play that has led to injuries. The player's very defenseless. He's falling onto his back on a very hard ice surface with no opportunity to brace himself. So it is certainly a dangerous play. And McKylian's night is done. He was given a game misconduct, so he's going to hit the showers early. The Mavericks with 1 minute and 4 seconds to work with in the second period while on the power play. And regardless of whether they score here, they will have 3 minutes and 56 seconds remaining on this power play to start period 3. And if you're Tulsa, this is the last thing you want. The Mavericks were able to just punish the Oilers penalty kill the last time they were on the man advantage. On that slot backhander from Landon McCallum. So a minute and 4 seconds remain in the second. The Mavericks win the draw. Janicki, Ewens, high slot. Carew, one-timer, didn't get much on it. Randall follows up, stopped by Soshanek. And the one-timer by Carew looked like was partially blocked. And it slid into the mid-slot between the hash marks. Randall was there, but didn't quite get the shot that he wanted. Now, both Carew and Randall had Oilers players bearing down on them and couldn't get clean shots away. Here's Ewens. Walks the blue line. Carew into the middle. Randall's one-timer fought off. Rebound. What a save by Soshanek, robbing Justin Janicki at the side of the goal. Ewens for Janicki, far half wall. Back up to the point for Ewens. Janicki with a one-timer fought off. Rebound. Stopped by Soshanek. Somehow it stays out, and a quick whistle blows the play dead. So many incredible saves already for Tomas Soshanek on this penalty kill. And he has single-handedly kept this game tied over the last 30 seconds or so. That stop on on Janicki was incredible. Here's the one-timer from Janicki from the right circle. That led to that big rebound chance for Casey Carew. Point-blank range. Soshanek was able to deny it, and the whistle blew quickly, blowing the play dead. And Chaz Noki, in all likelihood, thought that Soshanek had that puck covered, even though he did not. Fans not appreciating that quick whistle, but referees are instructed to blow the whistle as soon as they lose sight of the puck. And here, understandably, Chaz Noki lost sight of it. And he thought it was somewhere in Soshanek's equipment. Soshanek, speaking of his equipment, he was just tended to by, like that was Chris Mays, the equipment manager for the Tulsa Oilers. His helmet was dislodged, and the faceoff's actually going to exit the Tulsa zone as the teams skate out to neutral ice to take this draw. 34.7 seconds remain in the second. 2-2 is your score. We've got goals tonight from Andrei Bakanov, Nolan Sullivan, Landon McCallum, and Justin McKylian in that order.
A lot of patience once again for the Mavericks power play. A lot of clean passing, getting some great shots off there on net.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely incredible looks on the Mavericks power play. And they'll try to generate one last flurry here at the end of period 2. Luke Lowhite goes around the end wall. Soshanek signaling for McKee to come pick it up. He does, but he can't get it past Carew at the line. Janicki, far half wall. Side of the net, Randall. Janicki, Carew, deep slot. One-timer by Janicki, on target, stopped by Soshanek. Puck flutters up to the circle, recovered by Ewens, given to Carew. Another one-timer by Janicki, fought off again by Soshanek. He's fired probably 4 shots from that spot on this power play. Soshanek managing to stop them all. And we remain tied at 2 goals apiece through the opening 40 minutes of play. Another look at that opportunity at the end of the second period. The Mavericks will have 3 minutes and 56 seconds of carryover power play time to start period 3. The reason they're on this 5-minute major power play is because there was a slew footing call made against Justin McKylian 18:56 into that period, in which he brought down Lucas Sauter in the neutral zone. And we're going to be hearing from Sean Carrier and Nolan Sullivan shortly. Sullivan had the Mavericks' first goal of this game. We're going to send it down to Sean right now.
All right, Nolan, you had to scrap and battle to get their first goal of the game. How did it feel to see that one go in?
Yeah, it was good. We thought we played well last time we played these guys, but kind of put an emphasis on getting to the net there this game.
Third period coming up, tie game going into it. How do you win this one in the third?
Yeah, I think it's going to come back to that same area, getting into some hard spots and just finding a greasy goal for the win.
Awesome. Nolan, thank you. Best of luck in the third.
All right, thank you very much, Sean. That was Sean Carrier, our color analyst, with Nolan Sullivan, who opened the scoring tonight for the Mavericks with that beautiful redirected shot that he used his skate to knock into the back of the net, but there was no distinct kicking motion, so the goal stood. A very impressive goal for Nolan Sullivan, his 5th of the season. 2-2 is your score through the first 2 periods of play. The Mavericks will have a lot of power play time to work with at the start of period 3. In the meantime, we're going to step aside and take a break here, Mavs country. Thanks so much for joining us tonight on your Wednesday night. Hope you're enjoying the game so far. When we come back, we'll have replays, highlights, game summaries, affiliate reports, and so much more. Keep it right here. You're watching and listening to KC Mavericks Hockey.
When you have a financial partner that invests in every part of you, you can't help but feel like a star. Member owned, open to all. Community America Credit Union, invested in you.
Our railroad moves North America,
expanding our legacy of excellence with each mile.
as leaders in innovation and service.
We are united by hard work and pride.
We safely deliver every day.
Connecting people.
Connecting communities.
Connecting nations.
We are CPKC. Together, we go places no one else can go.
How do I get rid of it? Just drink a ton of water.
My mama said tea with local honey works wonders on a sore throat.
Got the ginger soup.
The best remedy? Essential oils.
Dude, don't worry about it. Always works.
Health question? Get expert advice. Consult a nurse. It's free.
Optimal performance is our goal both on and off the ice. KCOA is your home for orthopedic care in Kansas City. As the largest independent orthopedic practice in our region, we can provide personalized treatments for nearly every ache, pain, or injury you might have. We have the experts and access to get you the care you need today. With over 60 providers and 7 locations across the metro, we've...
Welcome back inside Cable Dahmer Arena. Alex Von Koitel and Sean Carrier with you. Hope you're enjoying your Wednesday night. The Mavericks tied with the Tulsa Oilers through 40 minutes. 2-2 is your score. The Mavericks with a whopping 35 shots on net through just 2 periods, countered by Tulsa's 16. So it's been a dominant game in terms of the time on attack and the puck possession, but we remain tied at 2 goals as the Oilers managing to capitalize on a couple of broken plays during that second period. The Mavericks goals also both coming in that second period. It's been sort of a recurring theme for the Oilers, Sean. Their last game that they played right before Sunday, when they played the Iowa Heartlanders on Saturday night, there were 5 goals in that game. All of them came in the second period. Kind of a similar story here today. The Mavericks, the Oilers scoring 4 times between the 2 of them. Tulsa scoring first. It was Andrei Bakanov, 2:52 into that second period. And that goal scored by Bakanov, I think just sort of a bit of an awkward looking play. Maybe caught LaFontaine off guard. He didn't seem to know where that puck was. And it went through the 5-hole. Tough to tell if it deflected, it went off a stick, or just went clean through. But Andrei Bakanov in his Oilers debut was able to get Tulsa on the board 2:52 into the period.
Yeah, it was super awkward. It was so awkward I thought it rebounded off of LaFontaine and went in off of one of the players in front, but it just went straight in, seemingly. If a deflection did happen, it happened earlier in the shot than right in front of Jeff LaFontaine. But this is such an awkward game for the Mavericks because you deserve to be up by so much more than you are. The shot discrepancy right now, 35-16, and I think the high danger ratio is in favor of the Mavericks even more so than that. So, I mean, they've got 4 minutes straight on the power play to start off this third period, and you got to hope that they find a goal with the man advantage, given that it's such an extended period of time for that. But they're playing really well. Their passing is really crisp. Their forechecking is really crisp. It just feels like really the two better chances that the Oilers have had in this game they've managed to capitalize on. And on the other end, Tomas Suchanek is just having one heck of a game between the pipes. He's going to be the riddle that the Mavericks will look to solve here heading into this third period. It might, like Nolan Sullivan said, might take a greasy goal, might take something dirty in front of the net, might take a rebound, deflection, something not super pretty, but just most importantly, the Mavericks have to get it done. This is a game that they don't want to see slip through their fingers. It's, you know, it's almost the inverse of what happened on Sunday. At times, Tulsa kind of looked like they were controlling the pace a little bit more, and the Mavericks were hanging in there, and the Mavericks clawed their way back in that third period, fought their way to a really impressive victory. And in this game, the Mavericks have just dominated the game from the puck drop to now, and somehow they're tied 2-2 heading into this third intermission. So fingers crossed. I don't think luck will be involved in it, though. The Mavericks are playing really well. You got to feel like it's a matter of time until they get their next one.
They are playing well, and ironically, Sean, even though what Nolan Sullivan was saying is probably true, that they are going to have to get a greasy goal, but the two goals that they do have been very pretty, as a matter of fact. One of them was a very skillful deflection made by Sullivan with the skate. The other was a backhand one-timer, which is a new term that I just learned today. And that gave the Mavericks the lead. Landon McCallum scoring 10:24 into that second period on the power play. And speaking of power plays, the Mavericks will have 3 minutes and 56 seconds to work with to start period number 3 on the power play due to a slew footing penalty called against Justin McKylian. Sean, you had already run downstairs to catch up with Nolan Sullivan at this point, so you didn't see the play, but we were talking about it briefly before coming back on the air, and you and I were both mentioning how it's very rare to see a slew footing called just in general, but let alone when it's just in the middle of the open ice like that, and that's exactly what happened. And I think you mentioned that Lucas Sauter was slow to get up, didn't look like he was doing too well. Hopefully he ends up being okay, but not a penalty that you see very often in the slightest.
No, not at all. And, you know, a slew footing call, normally you see it up against the boards when there's a defender or an attacking forward who's desperate to make a play on the body, and it's kind of a desperation kick. It's more of a reflex than it is a dirty play. This was just a dirty play. Lucas Sauter is not really moving his feet. He's waiting to adapt to the play, waiting to make a move, and he gets slew-footed and pulled down in the middle of the ice. It just doesn't really happen. It's an incredibly dirty play. You have to hope that Lucas Sauter's okay. He is a guy who's already dealt with some injury concerns this season, and when he's in the lineup, he helps this team win. He's really effective. We've talked about his shot, his speed, his vision on the offensive side of the puck. Really hoping that he can come out here and finish out this game, because you just hate to see a guy like that miss any more time this season after what was just such an incredibly dirty play going through the middle of the ice.
Yeah, Sauter, like you were alluding to, did miss a good chunk of time. He was out for 11 games and essentially missed all of mid-November through all of mid-December. Made his return on December 19th against the Utah Grizzlies and had a goal and an assist in his first weekend back. Added a goal on New Year's Eve, that gorgeous one-timer on the power play against the Iowa Heartlanders. So he's certainly somebody that can help this team win, like you said, and we hope that Lucas Sauter is okay. So that wraps up your game summary. 2-2 is your score at the end of 40 minutes of play. Take a look now at our Mavericks affiliate report and see what's going on with the Seattle Kraken and the Coachella Valley Firebirds. Sean, what have you got for us?
All right, let's start with our Seattle Kraken of the National Hockey League. Alex, December 20th was the day that the Seattle Kraken potentially saved their season. At the time, they were 1-9 in their last 10 games played, and since that day, they have gone 8-0-1. The first game since our last update was a 5-1 victory over the Calgary Flames. Philip Grubauer stopped 41 of 42 shots he faced in that outing. And then last night, they got another win over the Boston Bruins. They put up a touchdown, winning 7-4. Berkeley Catton, top 10 pick in the draft, got his first career NHL goal in the win, and he picked up another one for good measure. Capo Caco also picked up 2 goals and an assist in the win. This run that the Kraken are on have got them up to 3rd place in the Pacific Division standings. They're now just 1 point away from 2nd and 1st place. Edmonton Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights are the 2 teams that sit in front of them. The Vegas Golden Knights have the exact same number of of games played. The Edmonton Oilers have one more game played than the Kraken do. So hopefully the Kraken can keep this win streak going. They'll look to make it 5 in a row as they take on the Minnesota Wild tomorrow night. That game will have a 9 p.m. Central Time puck drop. Now we'll work to the Coachella Valley Firebirds. They were coming off of a 3-2 loss to the Ontario Reign. They have fallen to 6th place in the Pacific Division standings. However, there is a ton of parity in that division, especially this year. They are currently chasing the Calgary Wranglers for 5th place. The Wranglers have 2 more points than the Firebirds do, but they actually have 5 more games played. So some quick room for improvement from the Firebirds as you can take a look at the standings here. They're actually playing right now against the Henderson Silver Knights. We'll go ahead and take a look at the score of that one. And they are currently losing that game 1-0 about 10 minutes in. So hopefully they can get that thing turned around, get a win against the Henderson Silver Knights, and work their way up the standings a little bit. But really, one of the stories of the National Hockey League right now is just the run that the Seattle Kraken are on. Doing phenomenal as of late. It was not looking pretty for them. They were sitting dead last in the Pacific Division standings what feels like close to a month ago, and they've since fought and clawed their way all the way back up the standings. They're one of the few teams in the Pacific Division standings that has a winning record in their past 10 games, and of course the Kraken have gone 8-1-1 in their last 10. So phenomenal run here that the Kraken are on. Gotta hope that they can keep it up as we hopefully will see them claw their way to first place in those Pacific Division standings.
All right, thank you very much, Sean. And what's funny about what you mentioned, the December 20th, I think you said, was the date at which things turned around for the Kraken. Well, fittingly enough, that's the date in which the Mavericks started this winning streak that they're currently on. They've won 6 in a row, are looking to win their 7th in a row. Every game since December 20th, they have won. So seems like maybe the Kraken creating a trickle-down effect throughout their affiliations. All of the teams between the Mavericks, Firebirds, the Kraken, all doing very well as of late, particularly since that December 20th date. So we're going to step aside, Mavs country. 2-2 is your score. We'll be back in just a moment. You're watching and listening to KC Mavericks Hockey.
We're proud to be community partners with an awesome organization, Given the Basics. That's why throughout the month of January, we're taking part in the Ultimate Goal Challenge.
The mission of the challenge is to donate one of the 20 essential products to people and families in need.
And with your donation, you will help adults and children feel dignity and confidence every day.
However you choose to donate, just know you're making a real impact.
Thank you for supporting Given the Basics and the Mavericks.
Go Mavs!
It's coyote season now at Teague Tractor in Belton. If you need a machine that lifts, loads, pulls, and digs, wherever you need it, there's a Coyote right for you. See the full pack of Coyote tractors and skid steers at Teague Tractor. Durable, versatile, yet comfortable and convenient. Teague will put you in the Coyote with all the demands and features you require. Teague is a complete Coyote dealer with parts and full service. Pick your tough Coyote today at family-owned Teague Tractor, right off I-49 Belton.
Get ready for a wild adventure at the Kansas City Zoo and Aquarium. Experience the thrill of the animal kingdom like never before. Dive into Sobella Ocean Aquarium and discover the wonders of the deep blue sea. From fun rides to tasty treats, there's excitement around every corner. Create unforgettable memories with your favorite animals and favorite people. Kansas City Zoo and Aquarium, where every visit is a new adventure. Plan your visit today.
Welcome back, Mavs country. Let's take a look at those second period highlights. All 4 goals scored in this game were scored in that second period. This was the first one. It came off the stick of Andrei Bakanov from the right circle, making his Oilers debut tonight, able to beat Jack LaFontaine, what looks like just cleanly through the 5-hole. Got to give Bakanov credit. It was a well-placed shot against a goaltender who's been virtually unbeatable of late. And here was the deflection by Nolan Sullivan with the skate.
Yeah, not sure if this also took a deflection in front by Lucas Sauter, but nonetheless, impressive play. It took a review to get it confirmed, and Really nice job by Nolan Sullivan to find his 5th of the year.
It was. It just looked like a pinball in that situation. I think it did deflect off of Souter and then Sullivan and into the back of the net. So the referee giving him the benefit of the doubt. No distinct kicking motion determined, and this was an incredible goal scored by Landon McCallum on the power play.
Yeah, just look at the flick of the arm and the wrists on this backhand to just wind up a little bit, put some pressure on that puck. It's wobbly, still gets it to the net with some velocity on it as well. Really just unbelievable shot there by Landon McCallum.
It was, and then this was Tulsa's response. Justin McKylian going through the 5-hole to beat Jack LaFontaine, and looked like, you mentioned it, partner, it looked like he sort of whiffed on the shot, and it just sort of off speed trickled through the 5-hole of LaFontaine to tie things up at 2 goals apiece.
And unfortunate one to go in for Jack LaFontaine and for this Mavericks roster, but work to do. If you were to tell this Mavericks team at any point against any opponent this year, you are tied going into the 3rd period, how are you going to respond? They like their odds. You know, it's unfortunate that they are at this stage, given how well they have played in this game. They deserve to be leading going into the 3rd, but, you know, a 3rd period tie, it doesn't scare them. They're ready to get to work. They're going to lay it on thick here in this 3rd period, going to continue the great pressure, the great forechecking that they've been up to the first 40 minutes of play, and they're going to find that next one.
And the Mavericks have gotten a point, at least a point, in every game in which they entered the 3rd period tied this season. They're 4-0-1 in those situations. And the Oilers, on the other hand, 1-3-0 when tied after 2 periods of play. 3rd period action is next, folks. Keep it right here. You're watching and listening to KC Mavericks Hockey.
Fine.
We're proud to be community partners with an awesome organization, Given the Basics. That's why throughout the month of January, we're taking part in the Ultimate Gold Challenge.
The mission of the challenge is to donate one of the 20 essential products to people and families in need.
And with your donation, you will help adults and children feel dignity and confidence every day.
However you choose to donate, just know you're making a real impact.
Thank you for supporting Given the Basics and the Mavericks.
Go Mavs!
Fun, high end, the upper echelon. That is our guiding principle. The extraordinary. At every level, at every turn, and in every interaction. Why? Simple. To offer the absolute finest luxury car experience in Kansas City. That is what it means to be an aristocrat. Aristocrat Motors, where we treat every driver like royalty.
Welcome back, and that is a sight for sore eyes, partner. Lucas Souter back on the ice. He appears to be okay, and not only okay, but he's going to be out there for this Mavericks power play. He's the reason the Mavericks are on the power play, as he drew that slew-footing infraction against Justin McKylian, the most recent goal scorer in this game. That call was made in the last minute and 4 seconds of period 2. A 5-minute major and a game misconduct assessed to Justin McKylian. So the Mavericks to the power play here to start period number 3. 3 minutes and 50 seconds to work with on the man advantage. McCallum driving down the right side, gives it a cross. Pass just behind the intended target. Jackson Jutting takes over. McCallum now to Crawford at the blue line. Crawford looks for a lane, switches it back to McCallum. Returns it to Crawford in the right circle. Now McCallum. Souter goes wide, rotates it back to McCallum just outside of his reach. LaFontaine comes out of his net. We'll tap it right back up to Landon McCallum. He's got a power play goal already for the Mavericks. Dropped for Souter, now given to Cotton. Cotton slides it to Marcus Crawford at the right point. Tried to feed Cotton with a diagonal pass off the stick of Fitz. Stays in the zone. McCallum shovels it to the point. Crawford swings it over. Souter into the middle. It's bumped back to the line. Long point shot by Crawford is high. Hacked out to Jutting, left half wall. He goes down and behind the net. Jackson Jutting has to bounce it up to McCallum. Taken by Cotton instead. He and Jutting will switch. Now Crawford has it. Back for Jutting, returned it. Crawford up high. Jutting, goal line. His shot stopped by Sashanik. He's able to seal that post shut with his pads, and the Oilers are able to clear this all the way down. 2.5 to go in this Mavericks power play as they get their new unit out there. Zach Ewens will quarterback things as he begins to skate out of his own zone with it. Now Jack Randall slices in across the blue line. Now LoHockey gives it across. Left circle, fed back to the point. And Ewens, Carew, LoHockey, right corner. Back up to Carew at the point. Ewens, left half wall, back up high. Carew's shot blocked, but he recovers. Janicki, right circle. LoHockey, back for Janicki again. Up to the top, Ewens returns it. Janicki holds on. As he tried to bounce it back to Ewens, it hopped over his stick, and Ewens tries to recover, but it's intercepted. Here's a chance. Nelson's backhander fought off by LaFontaine. Excellent shorthanded opportunity for the Oilers. They've had a few of those here tonight. And Tulsa's able to just fling this one all the way down and off the glass. Zach Ewens takes over with just 1.5 minutes remaining on this Mavericks power play. LoHockey receives it from Ewens and twirls with it. Backhands it into the high slot. Played by Randall, side of the goal. Carew can't jam it home. Bounces off the glass. LoHockey dusts it off. Justin Janicki works it up to the line for Marcus Crawford. Given across to Janicki, whose one-timer is off the mark, and the Oilers can't clear this past Crawford. He'll give it down to Carew. Into the low slot. Carew shoots off the post. They score! It's another power play goal for the Mavericks. Looked like Casey Carew's initial shot went off the post, but he will lead the celebration. Casey Carew with his 10th goal of the season, and the Mavericks have regained the lead.
Now, this was an important goal for this Mavericks group to get, and it's a really nice walk to the slot by Casey Carew, and he fires it straight in. It pops out of the net rather quickly, but it will be Carew's goal. One of your players gets slew-footed in a tie game. How are you going to respond? And it's with the goal on the ensuing power play. Really nice job by the Mavericks. As this one rings kind of like a umbrella through the net. Starts at the left, goes all the way around. Really nice shot placement there by Casey Carew, as he will strike once again, giving the Mavericks the lead.
So Casey Carew cracks double-digit goals in his 10th of the season. Last season was tied for the team lead with 7 power play goals. And he's got one to his credit tonight. The Mavericks back in front. Landon McCallum dances in, backhands it just wide of the net as it rolls out to the point on the near side. And Zachary Brooks, rather Dakota Seaman, has shoveled it out. Jackson Jutting back to get it for KC. Jutting is flattened by Seaman in the far corner. Taken away by Souter and given up to Landon McCallum. Put it over the blue line. David Cotton's got it, but they say that offside is the call against the Mavericks. 16:28 to go in the third. 3-2 KC. 24 seconds remain on the slew footing penalty. That was taken very late in that second period. It's taken by Justin McKylian, whose night is done. The Mavericks with 2 power play goals tonight. As Crawford takes over. He sends it up ice. He wanted Cotton. Redirects off his stick. Mike McKee is first back. And the Oilers clear this. Jeremy Biakabatuka doing the honors, and LaFontaine will deal it up to Bergen. That's going to just about do it for this Mavericks power play. They do convert once. And the Mavericks have just iced the puck. Matthew Henry let out of the box. He was the one serving that penalty. 16:01 to go in the third. 3-2 Mavericks. Casey Carew with the most recent goal, and you called it, partner. It went straight in off the back post. Initially, I thought it went off the side post and that LoHockey was the one who buried it, but it is Casey Carew's goal.
I thought the same thing there for a second. Either way, I mean, Luke LoHockey buried it right after, so it wouldn't have mattered, but Casey Carew picks up another power play goal. He's really done well on the man advantage this year again.
Yeah, he has. He's got a knack for finding the back of the net, and he's not going to miss from there. So here's Bakanov centering. Berezowski on the back check, able to take it away. Now here comes Nolan Sullivan the other way for KC. He wanted to filter it through. It eventually finds Berezowski. Been shoveled out into the neutral zone. Josh Nelson was upended. This is going to be an icing called against Tulsa. And this faceoff will come back into the Oilers zone, and Rob Murray is not happy right now. I think he believes that a penalty should have been called on that hit on Josh Nelson.
Really nice start to this third period for the Mavericks. That power play was crucial. You really didn't want to let the Oilers kill that off. It's such a momentum builder when you can spend 5 minutes on the PK and not give up a goal in an entire game where the Mavericks have done really well. They don't want to give this Oilers group any more momentum than they don't have already.
The icing here is waved off as Josh Nelson had an edge on Wilson in the foot race. Skate to stick play by Mike McKee at the blue line. He couldn't get it down to Bakanov. It's cleared by Wilson. McCallum's pass finds Randall. As he is closed off, Jutting follows up and shovels it along the boards. Easton Armstrong's got it for Tulsa. The Oilers' top goal scorer this season. He's got 13 on the campaign. Now Wilson. Charlie Wright looking for his first point since coming back from Coachella Valley. He's looked every bit as electric as he did last season in his rookie campaign with the Mavericks. Mike McKee goes up to Dylan Fitz. Gains the blue line, hammers a slap shot. Blocker save LaFontaine. Crawford got his stick on that. Casey Carew skates out with it. Berezowski's on his right, as is Cotton. Carew goes behind the net, reverses it, hoping for Cotton. Picked off by Fitz and rolled behind his own net. Connor Smith. Saucer pass out to Easton Armstrong. He bounces it along his own blue line, and J.C. Broussard will bounce it in on net, punched away by LaFontaine. Crawford goes up the wing for Casey Carew. Carew's at the end of a shift here. He will just fly it in. Cotton begins to forecheck as Carew goes to the bench. Cotton does as well. The Mavericks get a new line out there as it's taken over by McLaughlin in his own zone. Now Bergen. Good pass on the tape. Sets up Souter across the Tulsa line. Had it knocked off his stick by Jeremy Biaka-Batuka. Sullivan. Now back to Drake Bergen. Souter backhands it below the Tulsa goal line. Tomas Sashanik has it now. He sends it around to the far wall. Turned at the net. Stopped by Sashanik. Loose puck. Whacked out of there as it flutters its way down to the Maverick zone. Jake McLaughlin back to get it for KC. And he spots Low Height lurking behind enemy lines. Low Height looks to the front. What a pass. It was redirected just wide. On the way through was Will Gavin, who got the shot off. Gavin and Glenn converge on it. Far corner, centering pass. They score! Justin Janicki rifles it home. Low blocker side on Tomas Sashanik. And finally, that heavy one-timer of his pays off. Justin Janicki's got his 6th goal of the season, and the Mavericks have an insurance lead. It's 4-2.
It's about time this line got rewarded for their efforts, and this play's created by Jimmy Glenn. He wins a puck battle through a couple of Oilers along the wall, and while he's kind of awkward, off balance, makes a great pass to the slot, and Justin Janicki right off the tee buries this one. Great pitch and catch between those two, and like you mentioned, Alex, insurance lead now for the Mavericks in the third.
And you gotta really feel for Tomas Sashanik on that one, Sean. I don't know if there's a goalie in this league who could have made a save on that. The perfectly placed one-timer from the slot by a very skilled player in Justin Janicki, low blocker side, which every bit of that just screams goaltender's nightmare.
I mean, if you blinked when Justin Janicki released that shot, you would have missed it.
Right. So Mike McKee from the left point. Send it down to the corner for Adam McMaster. His pass intercepted by Wilson. And Charlie Wright able to pitchfork this one out. Justin Janicki right side, joined by Will Gavin. He wanted him. Gavin was the trailer, but the pass broken up. Oilers on a delayed offside now. They retreat out to neutral ice. Crawford to drop it for Ewens with 12:05 to play in the third. The Mavericks leading 4-2. Ewens galloping to the goal. He shoots, stopped by Sashanik. Rebound in behind the net. What a close call for the Mavericks again. Zach Ewens taking it all the way up to the opposing net himself.
Every couple games, he just feels like he doesn't want to be overshadowed by his partner, Marcus Crawford, and does something magnificent. That was so close to extraordinary.
Now Callum drops it off, hacked wide by Randall, and taken away by Connor Smith for Tulsa. Now, UN's such a smooth skater. Watching him skate is almost like an art form. As Crawford takes over in his own zone. I don't know if it's his stride per se, partner, or just his speed, or how smooth it is, or what. Something about it. Everyone else seems to skate in a very different manner than he does, and it seems like it allows him to make those plays, just skate up completely uncontested, coast to coast, as the Oilers are caught on an offside.
The skating ability is just off the charts. The Mavericks really laying it on thick in this third period. Hopefully they can keep it up. We're going to take a quick break.
We're proud to be community partners with an awesome organization, Given the Basics. That's why throughout the month of January, we're taking part in the Ultimate Gold Challenge.
The mission of the challenge is to donate one of the 20 essential products to people and families in need.
And with your donation, you will help adults and children feel dignity and confidence every day.
However you choose to donate, just know you're making a real impact.
Thank you for supporting Given the Basics and the Mavericks.
Go Mavs!
Tonight's game is brought to you by Langley Recycling, one of the largest metal recycling facilities in the Kansas City area and a proud supporter of the Kansas City Mavericks. Langley Recycling specializes in buying, selling, and processing scrap metal. Say goodbye to the hassles of corporate red tape. Their family-owned business is here to offer fast, friendly, and reliable service. To turn your scrap into cash, call Langley Recycling today at 816-924-8452 or visit langleyrecyclingkc.com. Hope you're enjoying your Wednesday night Mavs country. Alex Von Koitel and Sean Carrier with you on Flow Sports and the Mavericks mobile app. 4-2 is your score in favor of KC. 11:05 remain in the third period. The Mavericks beginning to finally pull away after 40 straight minutes of a head-scratching close game. It's really been a dominant performance tonight by the Mavericks. They outshot the Oilers 16-5 in the first, 19-11 in the second, and yet they entered period 3 with the score tied at 2 goals apiece. And finally, their sustained offensive zone time, pressure, time on attack is beginning to pay off, as they have built a 2-goal lead over the Tulsa Oilers, but they turn the puck over in their own zone. Tyler Poulsen with a shot, blocker save LaFontaine. Hacked back to the point by Bakanov. Long point shot by Biaka-Batuka, sails wide. Poulsen digging for it. McLaughlin able to skate away with it for the Mavericks. And it's touched along for Casey Carew by Berezowski. The return pass finds Berezowski, who's now pinned to the end wall by Biaka-Batuka. Now this is Mike McKee. Turn the puck over to Casey Carew. Jeremy Biaka-Batuka's back on it. And now this is Dylan Fitz. Backhands it over the line. Wright intercepted it. Nice move. Just dangled Easton Armstrong and slides it up to Nolan Sullivan at center ice. Hudson Wilson now. Tried to give it back to Sullivan. Broken up by Dougie Legrone and cleared. We're halfway through the third period. The Mavericks lead 4-2. Luke Lowhite dispossessed of it in his own slot. Adam McMaster pirouettes, drops it to the point. Smith's shot tipped by Armstrong but stopped by LaFontaine with a stick. Cleared out in front of the Tulsa bench. Sullivan accelerates it further, and now it's Sashanik ripping it around to the near wall. Dylan Fitz dumps it in. Keegan Iverson in hot pursuit. UN spears it along. Crawford lobs this one out to the opposing blue line. Dougie Legrone's got to race after it with Glenn bearing down on him. Now Connor Smith whacks it up the boards. It squeaks past the point, and now it's UN's dusting it off in his own zone. Crawford floats it over for Glenn. It bounces off the half wall in the Tulsa zone. Glenn finished his check on Legrone. As Justin Janicki takes a spill. Matthew Henry caught on an offside with 9:04 to play in the third. 4-2 your score in favor of the Mavericks. 39-20 your shots on goal. We're going to step aside Mavs country. Keep it right here. You're watching and listening to KC Mavericks Hockey.
Our railroad moves North America,
expanding our legacy of excellence with each mile.
as leaders in innovation and service.
We are united by hard work and pride,
We safely deliver every day,
connecting people,
connecting communities.
connecting nations.
We are CPKC. Together, we go places no one else can go.
How do I get rid of it? Just drink a ton of water.
My mama said tea with local honey works wonders on a sore throat.
Got the ginger soup.
The best remedy? Essential oils.
Dude, don't worry about it. Always works.
Health question? Get expert advice. Consult a nurse. It's free.
Welcome back. 9:04 to play in the third. 4-2 Mavericks. Doubling the Oilers in both shots and goals. Both teams have scored 1 goal for every 10 shots tonight. And finally, the scoreboard is exactly reflective of the shots on net. That's something we did not see for the first 40 minutes of this game. Biakabatuka rifles it in from center. LaFontaine with a routine blocker stop. It's floated down the ice by Crawford, rolling dangerously on net, and this puck was played with a high stick. Duncan McGarrah, the linesman, signaling as much, so they're going to have a face-off. It looks like in the Tulsa zone. I believe it was played by a Tulsa player in the Tulsa zone, so the face-off will be to the right of Sashanik. Jackson Jetting steps in to take the draw. Clean win. McCallum holds on, slides it towards the goal line, intercepted by J.C. Broussard, who's checked near corner by Jack Randall. McCallum blocks the clearing attempt and shoots, just missed. Tight angle shot by McCallum, and out with the skates Jeremy Biakabatuka. To his left he goes. Here's a shot by Bakanov that's off target. That rattles back out to neutral ice. Jean-Claude Broussard. For Josh Nelson, he rims it in. Drake Bergen banks it off his own end wall for Marcus Crawford. His pass finds Randall, taken away by Broussard. Jackson Jetting steals the puck from Easton Armstrong, and Landon McCallum will just fire this one in. 8:04 to go in the third. 4-2 Mavericks. McMaster drops it for Mike McKee. Big defenseman gains the blue line and shoved off the puck. Carew put it behind the net, taken away by Armstrong, who can't jam it in. Adam McMaster turns it at the net. Pad save LaFontaine. And McLaughlin with a no-look backhand pass to find Bergen. Bergen's pass to Cotton behind the defense. He drives to the backhand. Pad save by Sashanik. And the net looks like it came off its pegs. We play on here. Puck turned over at the blue line, but McMaster's at the end of a shift. He will bounce one around to Keegan Iverson, whose shot is dealt with by LaFontaine. Charlie Wright trying to clear this. He's being harassed by Dylan Fitz. Carew floats it out to neutral ice. 7:10 to go in the third. 4-2 Mavericks. Here's Mike McKee. Gains the blue line, shoots. LaFontaine the save and no rebound.
A little bit surprised there. David Cotton didn't get a penalty shot on his breakaway opportunity. It was a really awesome move. He tried to go all the way from the left on his forehand, all the way to the back on his backhand. Sashanik made a really nice save, made a really nice strong push to cover off that opportunity, and some pushes and shoves continue. Look at Nolan Sullivan. Look at that big smile on his face. So Mike McKee just works this one down, puts it on Jack LaFontaine. And if you want to know why the Oilers have such a ridiculously high shot volume, but they sit at the bottom of the Mountain Division, that's why. A lot of their shots are just quick into the zone, throw it towards the goaltender. And the goaltender like Jack LaFontaine, he's not going to allow a goal like that to go in. He's not going to allow a rebound most of the time on a chance like that. And usually if there is a rebound by some chance, one of the Mavericks defenders has been there to clear it. So it's just a really nice job by this team. And this last time talking with Coach O'Had, he said everyone had contributed to their team win. You're seeing the same thing here.
All right, and case in point, look no further than what happened on Sunday afternoon, Sean. 42 shots from the Oilers, and not one of them solved Jack LaFontaine. Lucas Sauter, we'll keep an eye on him as he just skated back to the Mavericks bench in some distress. The Oilers have just slid the puck down, icing called against Tulsa. Duncan McGarrah, the linesman, makes the call. 6:37 to play in the third, 4-2 Mavericks. Sauter's had a black and blue night. Heck, he's had a black and blue season.
You just almost consider at this point, just take the rest of the game off. 6 minutes, 6.5 minutes remaining in this one. Obviously, you can help the Mavericks ice out this game, but he's taking a beating, like you mentioned. He's got to have some ice packs waiting for him after this one with just a beating he is taking.
Crawford, Ewens, drive. One bounces to the half wall on the near side. Crawford slides it up high for Will Gavin. He shoots, blocked, bounces off the back wall. Jimmy Glynn to Crawford, long shot stopped by Sushanik. He will hang on to that, take a whistle. The third period goal scorers for the Mavericks are Casey Carew and Justin Janicki. Carew's goal coming in the final minute of the Mavericks 5-minute power play that they had, and Justin Janicki's was scored at exactly the 7-minute mark of period number 3. Janicki's out there now. He had so many shots, Sean, at the end of period 2. You had already gone down to talk to Nolan Sullivan, but he had probably 4 or 5 one-timers, all from the right circle in the early stages of that Mavericks power play. All of them were stopped by Sushanik, so it's got to feel good for him to come through with that one-timer in the slot. Crawford takes over in his own zone. He lobs it out into the Tulsa zone. Janicki pursues it. Biaka Patuka will get there first. Gave it away to Gavin. His pass into the slot taken away by Bakanov, and he will find Poulsen on the right. Poulsen tried to advance it to Nelson. Nelson takes over behind the net, twists it in front. Bergen is there to take it away. Drake Bergen made that excellent pass to David Cotton earlier in this period to spring him in on the breakaway. That's something Bergen is so good at. His vision and his first pass and the breakouts out of his own zone. And here come the Oilers. McMaster dangling in. Good stick check by Landon McCallum. Something we've seen from Landon McCallum this season, Sean, and just an improvement in the 200-foot game. It's always something that rookies are going to struggle with initially as they adapt to the professional level, but Landon McCallum in just his second season already shown massive improvements in that department as he takes over behind the net. He put it to the circle. Here's a chance. Bounces away from Randall. He had an open net, but the puck was just sort of a hot potato. He couldn't settle it down and pull the trigger. 4:50 to go in the third. Mavericks lead 4-2. McLaughlin up to Jackson Berezowski. Charlie Wright. He steps by Keegan Iverson. Berezowski filters it down the boards. Cotton puts on the brakes. Slides it up to the line. Wilson has to retreat back to center. Cotton for Carew. And he drills it around the Tulsa boards. This Zachary Brooks trickles it through. Doogie Legrone driving in. He's shoved by Hudson Wilson. Iverson in there applying the pressure. And from the far corner, it's Dakota Seaman fighting for it for Tulsa. Charlie Wright's able to take that away. David Cotton into the middle for Hudson Wilson. Carew, a lot of time, right circle, overskates the puck, but drops it for Crawford. Crawford takes it to the corner on the near side of the Tulsa zone. Lucas Sauter still playing hard despite taking a beating like you mentioned earlier. He will drop it back to the point for a drive by Lowhite that sails over the net. Crawford, right point, Lowhite, right circle, pulls into the slot, delays and shoots, blocked. And that puck flutters its way to the near corner of the Tulsa zone. 3:24 to go in the third. Mavericks still applying all kinds of pressure. Tulsa really needs to get this puck out of their own zone if they want to have a chance here. And they've got to do it quickly. Time is now their enemy as Crawford receives it above the right circle. Into the slot, Sullivan with the shot. Blocker saves Sushanik. Poulsen has to be careful not to ice this, and he succeeds. The Oilers will get a fresh 5 out there. Inside of the final 3. Crawford is perfectly content to just sit back. The Oilers not applying a very aggressive forecheck under the circumstances. But the Mavericks have just iced the puck, they say.
It was interesting. One of the linesmen waved it off, and then the other one called that. So the Mavericks will be forced to return some of their players back for a defensive zone draw. And this is where you might see Suchanek head towards the bench. But he will stay in that crease for now, potentially waiting for the Oilers to gain possession. 2:46 remaining in this third period. The Mavericks, they came into this third period wanting to make a statement, and I think they certainly made it here, Alex.
They absolutely did. Speaks a lot to this team's resolve, given the fact that the game did not really go the way that it should have for the Mavericks, as KC has just iced this puck. Suchanek looking to Rob Murray and the Tulsa bench. Still no signal that he will be heading there. But the Mavericks, despite heavily outplaying Tulsa for the first two periods, were tied with them. And they were able to finally pull away here in the third as Suchanek heads to the bench. 6 attackers out there for Tulsa.
The Mavericks, you just got to get this thing out of the zone a couple of times. If you can find the empty netter, great. But up 2 goals here, you don't want to risk spending more time in your defensive zone than you have to.
And Jimmy Glynn chips it off the glass past Biaka Patuka. Tries to recover it for Tulsa. Will slide it back to Mike McKee. Mike McKee presumably here will be the last line of defense. Biaka Patuka will be the play driver from the blue line. McKee with a good pass. Here's a chance. Stopped by LaFontaine. Robbing Easton Armstrong, Tulsa's top goal scorer. We're going to head to our final media timeout, Mavs country. 2:18 to go in the third. The game wraps up right after this.
It's Coyote season now at Teague Tractor in Belton. If you need a machine that lifts, loads, pulls, and digs wherever you need it, there's a Coyote right for you. See the full pack of Coyote tractors and skid steers at Teague Tractor. Durable, versatile, yet comfortable and convenient. Teague will put you in the Coyote with all the demands and features you require. Teague is a complete Coyote dealer with parts and full service. Pick your tough Coyote today at family-owned Teague Tractor, right off I-49 Belton.
Get ready for a wild adventure at the Kansas City Zoo and Aquarium. Experience the thrill of the animal kingdom like never before. Dive into Sobella Ocean Aquarium and discover the wonders of the deep blue sea. From fun rides to tasty treats, there's excitement around every corner. Create unforgettable memories with your favorite animals and favorite people. Kansas City Zoo and Aquarium, where every visit is a new adventure. Plan your visit today.
Children's Mercy has been trusted by families for over 127 years, with more than 8,600 pediatric experts focused on one thing: your kids. From urgent care to top-level surgery, Children's Mercy is built to deliver care that's just for children where you need it. Learn more at cmkc.org/builtforkids. 6 attackers out there for Tulsa. They've decided to swap Mike McKee for J.C. Broussard, going pure offense here on this offensive zone draw. Bakanov, near corner, shoots from a tough angle. LaFontaine had the post sealed, and he's able to secure that puck in his glove. Andrei Bakanov trying to beat him from a near impossible angle. He was able to beat him on a surprise shot earlier in this game, back in the second period, beating him through the 5-hole. Bakanov with a couple of seasons of KHL experience under his belt from 2020 to 2022. In his Oilers debut tonight, off to a good start with Rob Murray and the Tulsa Oilers, getting a goal in his first game with the organization. Worked back up high after the draw. Broussard, D-to-D, Biaka Patuka returns it. McMaster, left circle, slap shot. LaFontaine, a chest save. Tracking the puck exceptionally well right now is Jack LaFontaine. He seems to always be at his best in these moments, partner, when the pressure's really on. At the end of a game, the team is just trying to hold on, wrap things up. LaFontaine just dials it up to another level.
Absolutely. When this team needs him to make a save, 9 times out of 10, he's going to make that save. And it's just such a phenomenal goaltender. Obviously, we've talked about the shutouts. We've talked about the wins. But the timely saves are just as important. Like you mentioned, just locks in the situations where they desperately need him to.
Broussard for Biaka Patuka. One-timer blocked by McLaughlin. Cleared all the way down wide of the net. This will be icing against KC. 1:48 to play in the third. The Mavericks, with a 2-goal cushion, probably won't have too many reservations as far as taking liberties at the opposing empty net. With Tomas Schanik on the Tulsa bench now. Rob Murray was on the conservative side on Sunday night when it came to pulling Slava Budiets from the Tulsa goal. The Mavericks were able to weather that late storm. They did not score an empty netter in that game. Jackson Judding to take the draw against Adam McMaster. McMaster wins the draw. Here's a point shot just wide, coming off the stick of J.C. Broussard. McLaughlin deep in his own zone, rolls it to the other side. Randall racing after it, chops it out. Might have gone off a player on the bench. They say it did not. We play on. McMaster across the blue line. Advanced it. He wanted Fitz. It went past him. And LaFontaine just steers it to the corner. Charlie Wright battling for it. Minute 22 to go in the third. Fitz, Wright, and Armstrong all in there. Armstrong rims it around. Off the stick of McMaster. Drilled back down low by Biaka Patuka. Now here's Bakanov. Far half wall. Goes up high for Roman Canal. Back to Bakanov. Canal again. Rather Broussard. Long shot stopped by LaFontaine. It bounces out to the far half boards where Bakanov will play it. We're inside of the final minute here. The Mavericks leading by 2. Bakanov. Biaka Patuka tried to kick it up to his stick. It rolled on him. McCallum intercepts it. He's got an empty net to shoot at. Leaves it for Randall. Back to Judding. He scores. And that's going to do it. Jackson Judding, with his team leading 13th goal of the season, has put the icing on the cake here tonight with that empty net tally. 5-2 Mavericks with 44 to go. Bakanov's pass for Biaka Patuka. It was the right idea to set up their big mobile offensive defenseman with a lot of room above the left circle, but Biaka Patuka just couldn't dust off that puck. It was on its edge. He tried to kick it up to his stick, but puck rolled on him and kept on rolling all the way down into the Tulsa zone. Landon McCallum able to win the foot race for it, ultimately leading to a goal scored by Jackson Judding. As the Mavericks will just kill out the remaining seconds here, 20 of which remain. It's got to feel great for this team, who had been in so many low-scoring affairs recently. It's something that they're just generally not all that accustomed to, especially back-to-back-to-back games, but scoring 5 tonight, they're able to rid themselves of that pattern. 5-2 the final in favor of the Mavericks. What a performance. Top to bottom of the lineup, a dominant performance, quite frankly. 46 shots on net for KC. And the Mavericks, with that win, have improved to 22-7-2, 46 points, and they extend their lead in the Mountain Division standings over the Idaho Steelheads. They now have a 5-point advantage over Idaho. With that shot total at 46, the Mavericks come just 2 shots shy of their season high, which was on November 12th in Wichita against the Thunder. They had 48 shots on that night, but regardless, a very impressive showing by the Mavericks here tonight. The Oilers dropping to 11-20-0. They remain at 22 points, 8th place in the Mountain Division. The Idaho Steelheads are playing tonight, so that'll be a game worth keeping an eye on if you're a Mavericks fan. The Steelheads hosting the Greensboro Gargoyles in their inaugural season. That game is well underway. 3-1 Idaho is the score, so the Steelheads will be looking to erase part of the lead that the Mavericks just gained with this win tonight over Tulsa. The 3-star selection, brought to you by Community America Credit Union, will be brought your way here momentarily as our public address announcer gets ready to read off the 3 names. not necessarily a game where the answers are obvious. Contributions from all over the lineup. The Mavericks had 5 different goal scorers tonight. Nolan Sullivan, Landon McCallum, Casey Carew, Justin Janicki, and Jackson Jetting, all finding twine. Jack LaFontaine also had a rock-solid performance in goal, stopping 28 shots